Whoop, whoop. There it is. Let's get going, guys. Let's jump right in. Jump right in. Man, I was thinking about what we did in the members chat, all of us together. It was wild. I don't know if you guys know, Whitney, one of the mods, she made a really fun club that is now a sub club in the members only. It's the Dead Parents Club. Oh, it was real nice. It was real fun. The chat took a great turn as she came up with this new club. Oh, it's fantastic, you know? Limited spots, but everybody joins eventually. Very, very fun club. Anyways, guys, you got to check it out. Anyways, guys, man, we are here. We are here today. I got a lot to cover. There's a lot of tabs open right now. There's a lot of tabs, guys. We're going to be going through a bunch of stuff. Going to dig into the meme bag real quick. Just real quick, you know, nothing too much going on. But after that, we're going to be checking out Candace, of course. Elizabeth Lane, I didn't know where to put this, where she talks about Ben Shapiro, but I put it alongside. Then we have Arkansas, Turning Point. I wouldn't say it's something Candace missed, but she didn't go deeper into it because she did play the video of something. But then I just kind of went through the entire video of Charlie Kirk sitting down with these Gen Z kids. And the guy, Dino, who runs the Arkansas chapter, he had a bunch to say when he was in that town hall roundtable discussion. I don't know what we would call it. So I just want to play that because it kind of makes sense why he's decided to disassociate with Turning Point. I think I have the answer there. Then we have Andrew Colvette. I don't know if you guys know, he sat down with Dave Rubin. Of course, Dave Rubin made sure to bring up Candace Owens in hopes that Andrew would go max and attack Candace, but he did not. But we'll talk about that some more. Then we have the whole Joe Kent thing. That's starting to form. Of course, it's so funny how quickly it happens. So just like Tucker, right, where there's like certain people calling for arrests, the same thing is forming with Joe Kent. They all have this similar thing that they have going on. Then we have Matt Walsh trying to blame Ian Carroll for what happened with the Erica recording or not Erica recording. Then we're going to touch on the BB stuff a little bit. You know, there's a whole lot to the BB stuff. I know Candace touched on it, but there's some other videos out there. I'm going to play it from, I'm going to go from the premise of, you know, what people are pointing out with the little weirdness going on with the BB videos. And then obviously we got to do a Candace breakdown. So I'm going to move that up. I'm going to put that right alongside Arkansas. We're going to do the Candace stuff right before we do the Arkansas stuff, because it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit, right? So we'll do that. But let's jump in. Let's jump into the meme bag. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. Hope you guys are feeling all right. What is it? Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday. Oh, that's even better. That's even better. You know, nothing worse than waking up on a Wednesday thinking that it's Friday. Nothing better than waking up on a Wednesday thinking that it's Tuesday. Oh, man, perfect. Absolutely amazing. Although I'm an adult now, so, you know, I'm doing more on the weekends than I do during the week anyway. That's a true marker of being an adult. This person, That Real Beauty, who just joined the Mint Daddy crew very recently, gave us this beautiful artwork. Okay, just all of us with battle buns. You have Ian Carroll here, which, I mean, so suits the guy. I mean, I heard Ian's like 7 feet tall, so this would just be perfect. I mean, Ian Momoa right here, okay? What are we talking about? This is a look that he should just be rocking all the time. Let me tell you something. If I had hair, every day of the week, I would look like this. Are you kidding me? I'd look just like this. Oh, of course I would. Why not? Why not? Of course, you have me here with my my hat battle bun, okay? Very, very nice. Thank you very much. You see it right there. That means I'm ready for business, okay? Not playing around here. Even got the pictures correct. I mean, just even got the text It's just amazing. Then we jump over here. Battle buns activated, right? So that's that white person here. That white lady is Candace, I'm guessing. I'm the Black Ranger, which is great. The person with the very gray beard, that would be Baron, I assume. And of course, Ian gets to be the Red Ranger. Of course, of course. But I saved the best for last. This is their depiction of Baron. This is their Baron with a battle bun. Very nice. Baron, I think you have a new profile picture. Go ahead and update your profile picture on X. I think everyone can agree this would obviously be the picture for you to use 100%. I mean, just a green? When has he even give hints that he would dye his hair green? You know? The basic joke would be to make his hair gray. That would be the basic joke. But this person, that real beauty, went a step further and said, no. We're going to make him look like he's straight from Portland, loves to drink IPAs, sorry, and is absolutely, curious on his journey, Sometimes guys, sometimes girls, like, look, what did you do to Baron? I mean, you made him look young, but you just took it too far. I mean, this is crazy. Anyway, that real beauty. Thank you for your service. We do appreciate that. Nicole Desiree. Thank you very much, Nicole. I enjoyed that very much. And Baron, if you're watching again, like, this is it. Go ahead and save this. Go ahead and save this. Let me just repost this really quick. Just really quick. I'll just put let me just make sure, just in case he's not watching, There he is. Your new profile pic. There you go. Just put him on alert there. There you go, Baron. Anyway, I didn't tell her to do that. I had nothing to do with that. Okay? I wouldn't have gave myself a hat bun if I had a choice, That is all her. Yeah, looks young and old at the same time. That's exactly it. Yeah, I get it. He's Irish, but I mean, to give him the green hair, just give him a green shirt. Come on, be nice here. Jeez. Anyway, let's jump into the rest of this really quick. Oh, geez. Did Candace bring this up? I don't even know if she brought this up. I think she did. Being number one, she did bring it up on X, that's for sure. Pleased to announce we're number one globally again, tied with Joe Rogan, but he doesn't count because he's always crushing it. That's funny. Thank you to everyone worldwide who listens. So it's like a three-way tie between her, Joe Rogan, and Kill Tony. So in reality, they could have chose to put any or one of these three at the top, and they chose to put Candace there. And the reason why is because she actually took 10 days off. This is actually why they put her at the top, even though it's a three-way tie, because she took 10 days off and then came back and didn't post as much as Joe Rogan's podcast, right? And I think Kill Tony doesn't do it that often, actually. So I guess she ended up topping them just based on the short amount of views that she's had since coming back, which is pretty much a colossal amount when you talk about downloads, you talk about streams, you talk about engagement. So if she didn't take vacations, it would be a lock. Pretty sure. There'd be no back and forth about like who's not. I think she would stay at number one because Rogan has people, because Rogan will be like, oh, I'm going to interview a beekeeper today. Hope everybody enjoys the beekeeper. I want to know about honey. I've gotten into honey now. I like to cold plunge, and I like to put some honey inside of the cold plunge when I'm doing it. And I also put it in the sauna because the heat shock proteins and the honey mixed together actually help XYZ. That's the kind of, he doesn't care. But Candace, every single time, million. Joe Rogan will interview a beekeeper and have 400,000 views, and he doesn't care, But Candace is just like bang, 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 bang. So she stayed consistent. She would be on top, like no argument whatsoever. Graham Allen here. He says, congrats on the blood money and fame. Congrats on the blood money and fame. Hold on a second. Hold on. Because I think we forgot. I think we forgot. Hold on. Let me just really quick. Graham Allen DOD. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I think we forgot. Okay. Someone's talking about blood money. You okay, bro? Hey, don't you work for the DOD talking about blood money? Hey, don't forget, right? Literal blood money. Okay. Anyway, guy has taxpayer money and blood money just rolled into one band, you know, just one money stack, one $7,000 money stack, talking smack to other people. I'm just saying, I'll never get over this. I'll never get over this. Also, someone sadly told me about Graham Allen. Let's get into the rest of the stuff. But just a comment really quick. Somebody told me about Graham Allen that he's actually small, that he's a short person. And I was shocked to hear this. I was saddened to hear this. It's always sad when you think someone's tall and they turn out to be short. But this explains so much about Graham Allen. Somebody told me that on X. They were like, he's actually a small guy. And I was alarmed and saddened, but it makes sense. That's why he's so crafty. That's why he's always like, oh, let me figure out. Candace is a liar. This is Tracy. Oh, she's blowing my mind. Is she a liar? Turns out she's a liar, guys. Come on. That's why he wears his hat like up. You know, when guys don't wear their hat like secure, they wear it up a little bit. Give himself a couple inches. I'm sorry to hear that. Anyway, let's keep going here, guys. He sounds tall, right? He seems like he would be a tall guy. But you have to think, God doesn't work that way. God's not going to make someone super vile and then make them really tall. That's like too much. That's too much. God's always like, okay, you're going to be a terrible guy, but I'm going to make sure you're nice and short, and hopefully you won't be able to take over the world. You know? Hopefully the other world leaders won't accept you as a world leader because you're so small. They'll just think you're cute. And that's what they've done with Graham. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I was going to read this. It's Elizabeth Lane addressing Ben Shapiro. I don't know if I need to read this. I might read it after. Let's go through Candace stuff, and then I will read it. But Candace stuff mixes in with what I want to cover so much. Like right now, like, do we jump over to Joe Kent? How about we just go into Candace ranting about how terrible everybody is first? Okay, we go there, then we jump into the rest. I think that's what we should do. Because, again, hair was down, but attitude was still hair up. You know, she's throwing people for a loop here.
Like I have said before, I find it to be utterly immoral for people to be pretending that everything that Erica is doing right now is normal, that it is moral, that it is righteous in any way, that it is excusable, that she has lied through her teeth, been caught so many times that it's some like stage of grieving that nobody's gone through. Like, yeah, you never hit the stage where you just pathologically lie about everything and you just like, hit the world tour and reverse everything that your husband said. And it sickens me especially because of how much I love my husband and thinking, God forbid, of anything ever like that happening, and me knowing who his enemies were, me knowing who put him through grief, knowing who stressed my husband out, and suddenly he dies and like give it 3 days and they're like sitting in his studio opening Amfest. Like, there is something deranged happening here. And there's no amount of propaganda that is going to convince these students, these employees who are fired for even asking simple questions about, hey, why does this feel weird? Get out. We don't care. Work like dogs, worship Erica. This is now suddenly a monarchy. There is no amount of social engineering that is going to change this, okay? You are not, we are going to continue to stay on top of Erica Kirk. By the way, to let you guys know, the reason why I need to pause the series is because learning about, I'm in a deep research hole right now regarding that cult that Renee Crossman, who Erica partnered with over in Romania, was in the Family International. Think like the Charles Manson, like the Family International, and child.
This is where she gets wild, real wild. Okay. I don't have the skills to bleep out how many times she talks about rush hour traffic. I just don't have those skills. But she goes off completely. One thing I will mention in this clip, she mentions George, her husband, and she says, you know, God forbid something happens to him. And yeah, God forbid anything happens like that to somebody's husband or wife. But I realize now George has a kill switch, and his kill switch is his wife. I didn't realize that. He has a definite kill. He's like, if anything happens to me, I have my wife here, and my wife is gonna go berserk. So if anybody wants to take any type of shot at me, beware. My wife is gonna do a series on everybody. My dad, any siblings I have, all my friends, people I didn't like, people I did like. You're all going to be in the same boat. So just everybody back. That's why he's so relaxed all the time. You know? He's just like chilling all the time. He's like, yes. Everything would be fine. Yes. You know what I mean? He's not an overexcitable person. He's just real calm all the time because he knows. He's like, nothing's happening to me. There will be hell to pay if something happens to me, old boy. I don't think you want that smoke, as they say, across the pond, yeah? I don't think you want any of that smoke now, do you? No. You don't have a pipe big enough for all that smoke, mate. Okay? So, I think that's what's going on there. But she does go off. You know, I mentioned it in the second live stream I did yesterday, how she starts going off on men. You know, she starts talking about men. She's like, if you don't talk about Gaza, you know, what the hell do you even have a microphone for? She's like, go outside and go chop down a tree or something. I was like, hold on a second. I haven't talked much about Gaza. I don't know how to chop down a tree. I got a microphone. I felt attacked. I was like, holy jeez. She was going off. And she said something that I've said a dozen times when it comes to Erica. So I think she said 18 different people adjacent. It's crazy how many adjacent people that are involved in these weird, terrible crimes that she has around her. It is so weird. So weird. You would think, you know, usually you want to distance yourself from people like that right away. Like if you had a friend that had that on them, you'd maybe go, hey man, what happened? And then you'd be like, okay, I don't really want to be around this guy anymore. Like, I'm going to just back up, move away, not mention them. Not her. She's like, thank you. She's putting it in Instagram posts. She's doing tours with these people. Like, it's very odd. And so much of it is people who are a part of these like Christian organizations. It's so crazy how much of that there is. I so understand why people don't like organized religion. I so get it. They have so many things to point at that are just terrible, you know, whether it's people milking poor people for money or people who are caught up in these disgusting crimes. It's like, it's baffling to me how much of that there is. But then we go to Candace once again. Is this Arkansas? Let's do the Arkansas clip. We have Candace here. So as you guys know, Arkansas University has decided to disassociate with Turning Point. Now, Candace played this video. I was looking for this video everywhere. I didn't know the name of it. I had no idea, you know, where this video was, but it makes perfect sense to me why they did this. Now, we're going to go over the story a little bit. I know you guys have heard of it, but apparently, for some reason, the people who are in university weren't buying this.
We are here to welcome one of the conservative movement's most talented, most outspoken, and most faithful leaders, Erica Kirk, to our great state. We're so proud to have her, and we're so proud of the incredible work that she is doing to.
It's crazy to call her one of the most faithful leaders. Like, she just got, like, you know what I mean? She just got here. Literally.
help encourage students across the country to engage and join Club America, which we're launching here in Arkansas, and we're just honored to have you.
Thank you. God bless you. We're so grateful, and thank you for honoring Charlie and his legacy and his mission to have a Club America on every high school chapter across the country. So God bless you guys, and thank you.
She mentions Charlie more than RFK mentions his dad and his uncle, you know? I'm just saying. I mean, great men, but he mentions them a lot. She mentions Charlie even more, which she should in a way, but that is what someone said bad acting 101. But in a way, you know, you gotta, I don't know. It's a hard balance because she should mention her husband. We are looking for that kind of thing. But I guess how you mention them is what really matters in the context of how you mention them. So apparently they weren't buying that. They saw that and they were like, I don't know about this, right? They also saw this. There was this whole speech here that she gave. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Of course, I wouldn't do that to you guys.
And Governor, thank you. You've always been such a phenomenal supporter of ours and of Charlie's, and I'm just tremendously grateful because just like you and other governors who have been bold enough to stand alongside us to make sure that Charlie's dream of having a Club America on every single high school campus come to fruition and come to life. And I'm unbelievably grateful for your bravery and for your conviction to make that happen. I'm so grateful. And I know that each and every one of the students here and across the country is grateful as well. So thank you. I'm grateful for that.
So she's just real happy there. Let's see how the emotion changes. Let's just go up a few seconds. Let me just see here. Just a few seconds. Let me just see.
Time and our resources and our assets into you. This is way bigger than politics. Way bigger than politics.
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's actually politics.
We live in the greatest country in the world. The greatest country in the world. It's not perfect. Excuse me. It's not perfect. Are executed for your faith and your values. Someone comes up and flips your table. Someone throws all of your resources on the ground. Count it all joy. You are being persecuted because you believe in Jesus Christ. Count it all joy. And I am so proud of each and every one of you. I am. It is not easy to do this. It is not. But it is worth it. And all of you back here, I am so proud of you. So proud of you, because you know what? When you start in high school,
instantly starts crying. And then also, she's never done it. So she's like, it's not easy to do this. You've never done it. Huh. Hey, you've never done it before. I would like to see her do it. I think that'd be really cool if she started going to the campuses and sitting down and doing all that. I think that'd be really, really interesting to see. But she's never done that before. So there's that whole thing. But apparently they were not buying this. These university students, they weren't buying this at all. Let's see what this how do I say his name again? Let me show this guy here. Sword Truth. He's one of the solid sources on the investigation as well. Brings a lot of hard-hitting facts. So Dino is going to be who I'm showing you. Dino, the president of the University of Arkansas Turning Point chapter, he announced on Monday decisions, a chapter executive board. He's a part of the organization for 10 semesters. Is he still in school? 10 semesters? How does university work? Man, maybe he's becoming a doctor or something. I don't know how that works. Which he spent in leadership roles. After discussion with the executive board, we've come to a unanimous decision to dissolve our affiliation with Turning Point USA, rebrand our registered student organization under a label of our own, Young American Revival. Look out for that, guys. I think that's going to turn into something. At the University of Arkansas, I have no idea how to say his name. I'll say Fanti Grossi. Fonty Grossi. I don't know. What happened to Smith, you know? Also added that he felt uneased the way the national organization referred to Charlie since his death. Now, I think there's more to this, right? And Candace already showed you this. This is what he didn't like. He didn't like the fact that they were generally put off by the way Charlie was being used by Turning Point. Charlie would have wanted, Charlie felt this way. Charlie felt that way. They felt it was manipulative. And it is. But I think the reason he feels that way, okay, And you guys know that whole story. I was going to play this news clip. Candace already played it. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Listen, whatever. If you haven't seen it, here, let me give you a
Turning Point USA chapter at the University of Arkansas announcing it is rebranding and disaffiliating with the national group. The chapter's president said in a statement posted on social media, the executive board had become concerned with the direction of the national group. Says the chapter will now be rebranding to Young America.
I said exactly what he said, but I said it better looking, more flavor. Am I right? Am I right or am I wrong? We don't have to go through all that, but I want to go through this part, right? As Candace shows this, I'm like, okay, I got to find this video. Then she shows who Dino actually is. And I'm like, okay, then let's find Dino talking. Now, the first clip I'm going to show you, is this the first clip? Let me make sure. This is this here, next one. That's the first clip. So now they're doing a word association game, okay? And then you're going to see Dino. He's the guy with the long hair. I'll freeze it when it's on Dino. But they're going to play a word association game with Israel and what these guys have that word associated with.
Play a word association test. What's the first word that comes to mind when you hear Israel?
Judaism.
Aid.
Netanyahu.
Tax dollars.
Liability.
Sacred.
Tax dollars.
Conflict.
Complex. Controversial.
Scary.
Strategic.
Mossad.
So that was Dino. I froze on Dino there. I feel like I might have been muted for a second, but it's all good. Don't even worry about it. Dino is the long-haired gentleman. We're going to see more of him in a second. So this is just parts of how Dino actually felt. And then I'm going to get into why I think this actually happened. Let's go.
A little bit.
It was the State Department's.
No. Slow it down. Slow it down. I'm on double speed here. My bad, guys. Here, there we go.
Stated goal that we were working on negotiations with Iran. You can say they wouldn't have panned out. You can say that maybe they were imminently about to collapse, but we were still in active negotiation, and yet Israel launches Operation Rising Lion to go in and strike Iran while we are mid-negotiation.
How many of you guys would say you think Israel got us into that conflict? You would say yes. You would not say so much?
I think we were willing to join that conflict. I don't think we were pulled in unwantingly as if we were dragged by a leash, in more uncertain terms. I think we have the authority and the say of whether or not we want to be involved in that conflict. And
Get back to work, America. Get back to work. There's no leash. There's no leash. Get back to work, America. Get back to work. Defend. Let's keep going here. So there's that was a one clip of Dino speaking on this whole thing. So he feels like we've that America's been pulled into situations, various situations, but he brought up one.
Prophecy as policy generally to be theologically problematic. I mean, there's plenty of things that the Bible says that have been done throughout parts of history that certainly a nation state doing today we would see as a bit of a problem. When it comes to sending these, what you said, $300 billion
19, yeah, just with the inflation, yeah.
to any foreign country, all I can think about is across our own southern border, we have an actual military in the form of the cartel that kill thousands of people, and that's leaving out the hundreds of thousands of Americans that have died to drug overdoses due to drugs that have come across our southern border. And it's insulting that that money goes anywhere else because we have such a huge problem here.
Yeah, I want to kind of flip this word association game around just slightly because we haven't done it yet.
Surprise, surprise. Andrew didn't want to address what that guy just said. So that's Dino, right? So my thinking is the actual reason that Dino decided, hey, we don't like what's going on with Turning Point is because, and going back to his actual statement, because this actually is his statement himself, because he is the spokesperson in a sense, he's the head of everything. We're generally put off by how Charlie Kirk has been used by Turning Point after his passing. Statements like Charlie would have said, Charlie would have wanted, have felt in many instances disingenuous and manipulative. Now, that's funny because the only person they've heard say this is Erica Kirk. So what they're really saying right now is that they feel like she has been disingenuous and manipulative. Charlie cannot speak for himself anymore, and we do not recognize the ways others have attempted to speak for him. right? That really stands out to me. Chapter said its goal is not to conflict with Turning Point, but to focus on supporting grassroots conservatives in their own state. And I'm sure they'll span out. They're going to turn into their own thing. But I think the reason that he's saying this, we do not recognize the ways others have attempted to speak for him, is because Dino has actually been in the room with Charlie Kirk. And when you have a situation like this, right, where you have this little gathering, right? If you don't know the name of this video, it's a 20-minute video. Gen Z and Charlie Kirk discuss Israel, Gaza, U.S. policy, right? It's actually a great video. It's one of the, if he kept doing this, this would have been like such a good idea. But he's been in the room with Charlie, which means that you end up talking, like even when I interviewed Mark, we talked for like an hour off camera. We had text messages, conversations. We talk, right? Then we get on camera. Then we get off camera and we talk more. So it's like, you guys know everything that you saw in the interview. I know a little bit more because we had an off the record, off camera conversation. This gentleman and all of these kids, these young people, they have probably had the off camera conversation with Charlie as well. And while they're talking about that topic, Charlie was probably very, very honest about how he felt about things. He was probably extremely honest about how he felt about things. And this was done in 2025. We've seen from text messages that Candace released that he has been rethinking things since at least 2023. So when he talked to these kids, he probably gave them his unfiltered thoughts. Maybe not too crazy unfiltered, right? But he probably said, you know, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I have you guys here. You know, an explanation of sorts before you even get on camera. And then you got to think about what they said off camera. So I'm thinking that's why Dino is actually saying, you know what, we have to break away from Turning Point, because he knows for a fact what Charlie actually thought. He actually had an in-depth conversation with Charlie on and off camera. They all did. So he's probably seeing what Turning Point's doing now, speaking for him, while he knows the same thing Candace is going through, the same thing that's making Candace like flip out and go, what is going on right now, right? The exact same thing that's making her pissed off is probably getting to them as well, where they know how he felt about certain things, and now they're hearing people saying that he felt a different way about things. You can only imagine how twisted that would be. And then you see Erica do her actual performance. You don't like that whole thing. You've already had the best. You've already had the best. You've had Charlie. You've had the best of Turning Point, and now you're getting Erica, and you don't understand what's going on. So I think that was what really went on when it came to Arkansas, is that they had a firsthand knowledge of what Charlie was really about. So that's just what I'm thinking. That's what it seems like to me, and I'm glad they did it. I think they're going to turn into something much greater. I don't know if Dino has done any interviews yet. I'm hoping he does. I feel like, you know, Arkansas, Didi got a podcast, and Didi from Arkansas. So I couldn't see why Didi wouldn't land that interview. He should be able to just reach out to the guy. They could probably do it in person, honestly. I would love to be the one to do that interview, but Didi's like right there. So Didi should do it. If not, I'll try and do it. Young American Revival. I would love to know what that's all about. I would love to know what that's going to look like. I'll even search it right now to see if they actually have taken it a step forward yet. Young American Revival, rebranded. So it's already there. It already exists. Guy's name's Dino, and he lives in Arkansas. That always trips me out, you know? Thought it would be like a bunch of dudes named like Brent, Kyle, right? Clyde. You know, some good old boy names. Dino. It's a very interesting name. So yeah, it hasn't turned into anything yet. I don't even think they have a website yet. Let's ask. Do they have a website? Probably yet. I would love to see what they're actually turning into. I think it would be a really smart thing to watch these guys, because if they already, no, they don't have a website yet. If they're already taking this type of stance, then I think they're going to be doing some pretty solid things. And Dino seems like a really smart guy, honestly. So let me just double check to see if Dino has done any interviews. He has not. He does have a YouTube channel. 71 subscribers. Oh, look at that. Let's check that out. What is Dino doing? So he is not. 10 months ago, he did an interview, right? Let's see here. Check it out. Nope. He did the Charlie Kirk show. Did he? Let's see.
So we had a group chat called Gen Z showing up for the first time, chapter people joining their chapters for the first time. Guys, what stories have you heard? How has the growth been since 9/10 to present? In about 2 hours, it's going to be a month since that horrible day. But what have you seen that can encourage a lot of us?
Let's go Dino first.
Sure. So we started off on September 8th with about 75 registered members. Since then, we have increased all the way to over 400. Since earlier this week, we crossed 400. So that's been incredible. We've had Alex Stein, we've had Brylan Hollyhand, and our Instagram following went from about 1.2K. We're over 16K today.
Wow.
So there's been an incredible movement of people towards us, running towards us, not away in the face of something terrible. And I think that should be encouraging for everybody listening in today.
Wow. What about you, Brady? What have you seen?
I have to say, look, this is what happened, right? I'm going to adjust my opinion a little bit, right? It's not just that they saw Erica. Erica was the final straw. We all know what happened. He met Blake. Oh, man. See, that they shouldn't have done that. As soon as you meet Blake, right? Blake's just going to be like, oh, well, Charlie said this. And just so you know, Charlie said, hey, he wanted you to lend me $20. And I know it's crazy, but he said that. And, I don't know. I'll take it. I don't know why he would say that. He did. I mean, Charlie also said that you got to give Mikey McCoy a foot massage. I don't know. I mean, these are just dying wishes. This is how he just would have wanted it. You can't meet Blake. They got to keep Blake away from the new people. I'm telling you, he's not the best. He's not the best at this whole thing. Mikey McCoy, of course, I'm sure he was a joy, right? Mikey McCoy probably walked onto set, didn't run, right? But yeah, that's definitely part of it. So he met up with Blake. But interesting to see this kid, this young man do these things. So hopefully that turns into something. Anyway, so that was the one thing I noticed from watching the Candace episode, is that there's definitely this conversation. Also, this conversation had a little bit of reasoning for why Charlie died, right? I'm just saying. Could you imagine, right? It really shows in the timeline. I think I've talked about this before, but this guy did this a month before he passed away. So it's like he's getting all these, while he's getting threats, he's doing this. He's like, oh, I'm getting all these text messages. Well, guess what? I'm going to sit down with Gen Z and see what they think about all this. And then you have Dino being like, I think that place is a liability. And he's like, interesting. Not pushing back on anything the kids are saying, letting them say whatever they have to say, letting hundreds, millions perhaps, people see this whole thing. I mean, it's him in a most polite way, showing that he does not give an F about the messages he was receiving and the donors that he was losing and all. Like, he didn't care whatsoever. It's that, there you go. The one thing, I think Blake said it, or I think Andrew Colvett said it. The one thing they said it was true is that Charlie had an Irish background, and you don't tell an Irish guy what to do, because they will just be like, oh, what you thinking, boy? Huh? You want to go? You want to do something with me, boy? Huh? Hey. Who's this guy? Huh? That's how they fight. Tell me I'm wrong. That's how they fight. So let's keep going here, guys. Let's keep going. We can jump back over to Candace, and then we're going to jump to Joe Kent, right? So I guess we'll have to do it like that, because we have the Joe Kent thing. Actually, no, we got Andrew Colvett. Let's jump over to Andrew Colvett. commenting on Candace. Here, let's just go over here. Where is Andrew Colvett? Oh my gosh, did I lose Andrew talking about Candace? Ugh, and I just have Dave Rubin. Gross. Gross. I don't want just Dave Rubin here. Let's get that clip. Please find that clip for me ASAP. Where is that clip of Andrew Colvett and Dave Rubin discussing Candace Owens? He could not get her. There it is. Boom. Fantastic. Let's go.
Have really taken this thing to a very evil place, and obviously at the top of that list is Candace. You, I'm sure, were on some of those tour stops with us. I know you were on some of the tour stops with us, and subsequently other events with them and things of that nature. I mean, what do you want people to do with her at this point, with everything she has done? We don't have to dissect the entire. We don't have to do the entire autopsy on everything that she's done here.
I mean, let's take a quick step back before I get in directly on that. I just want everybody to remember that if you talk about some of the people that Turning Point and Charlie had been associated with, it's good to be in a coalition where you disagree with people on different issues. Okay, Dave, you and I disagree about a lot. I mean,
I wouldn't have been there if Charlie didn't believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. When we first ran into each other, it was in Florida a little while ago, which kind of led to me being here right now. I think we spent, 5-10 minutes about, all the things we disagree on, and it was fine. And
of course
I understood, listen, we've got lots of deep-seated disagreements, but I can then turn around and say, but it's okay that we're having this conversation right now. Okay. That's a good thing. And I remember we took a ton of crap for having like Cenk at the Jank, however you say his name, your former colleague at the Young Turks at Amfest in 2024 after we won. Took a ton. It was like this huge controversy online. And so I just want to like start off there, because Turning Point is under such incredible pressure by so many different people. Much has been made about the conversations Charlie was having with Jewish folks, and some were donors. Actually, I think it was really only one that was a Jewish donor. Before he was killed, and he was getting frustrated by the pressure that they were putting on him to get rid of Tucker at Amfest or whatever. Right? We're getting it from both sides all the time, and one of the things that I'm going to be adamant about in this conversation and in any subsequent conversation is that, yes, that's a fair conversation. I'm not saying you can't have the conversation, but just everybody needs to understand that we are getting from all sides this pressure. You can't have this person. You can't have this person. You can't have this person. And so I just want to state that at the outset here, because it's a reality that I've become very accustomed to, that Charlie had become very accustomed to. And it's a fair conversation about what the coalition is, what is in the realm of acceptable, what's in the realm of unacceptable. Okay. So to the Candace question, obviously, I'm on team you shouldn't be attacking widows. I don't think that gives somebody blanket immunity forever. I've never suggested that. The Bible's very clear, just for people that are curious, that going after widows is a really bad idea. And I just want to state up front that I've known Erica since they started dating, since Charlie and Erica started dating. I remember the first time I met Erica, it was actually at Politicon in Los Angeles many, many years back.
Oh, man.
And
Dave is pissed. Dave's like, are you going to call her evil and demonic like the script says, or not? When are you going to call her evil and demonic? It's funny. I was actually calling it out, because if you look at the very top line here, it says the attacks by Erica, by Candace are abhorrent, diabolical, and gross. Andrew doesn't actually say that. He doesn't actually say by Candace or anything. Dave has been really editing this conversation. He put it on Instagram where he really edited what Andrew was saying, really trying to position it directly at Candace. But as you can see from the full thing, he's trying not to really say, I'm going to go at Candace right now and say this about Candace. He's trying to really dance around it. However you feel about that, I think he just doesn't want that smoke. I mean, if you've seen the past few episodes, why on earth would you walk into that dojo? Why would you do that? You know what I mean? I would never would I walk into that dojo, right? I mean,
yeah, and I was like, who is this gal? Like, You know, and Charlie was like, "Oh, she's hanging out with us today." You know, Charlie, you could tell there was something different though, and I logged it. And Erica has always been tremendous, and she never sought the limelight. She was always very happy to sort of be doing her own thing and just be supportive of Charlie. And she's never been anything but just high character, just warm. She was a total asset to Charlie in the sense that, you know, Charlie was so missional. He was so direct. He was so kind of on just, you know, Energizer Bunny, get and direct about what he needed to get done. And Erica was this humanizing presence just for the staff, you know, whether it was donors or politicians or whoever he was meeting with. And she was just so, but content to be in the background and be the mom. And Charlie told us multiple times, you know, if anything happens to me, you know, Erica's going to be in charge. Said that to us on the staff, said it to his board. So it wasn't a secret when Charlie was killed what was going to happen next. We all knew that he had been very clear about that.
Nothing about Candace. Nothing. But Dave Rubin tried very hard. You can see it in this whole post. He tried very hard to position this. Of course, I'm not following. Bleh. Never. You know, oddly enough, I've never liked Dave Rubin. Never. I saw him on Joe Rogan one time years ago, and I was like, I don't really like that guy. Like, he seems like he's trying to do both sides at the same time. You know, that kind of thing. And I never really liked him. Rogan never had him back. I know what that meant when it came to Rogan, because when he likes somebody, he'll have them on 17 times in 1 year. So I kind of understood what that meant. And I was just like, I'm not really feeling this guy at all. Don't like his videos. Don't like his takes. You know, no particular reason. I think it's all like watered down and weird. So he's like, yeah, he's really trying to position this. You know, he shouldn't attack widows. He's like really trying to like on Candace attacking Erica. You know, Andrew's more talking about just the idea of going after Erica at all, right? And he's trying really hard to adjust that and make that Andrew talking about Erica. And that's what these guys do. That is just what they do. And we'll see another example of this when it comes to Joe Kent. I guess we can keep going. He's not saying anything.
And so the attacks on Erica I find to be obviously abhorrent. I find them to be diabolical. I find them to be gross. They're beyond the pale. They're unprecedented. And the only thing I can think of to make any of it make sense is that there was a huge outpouring of the Holy Spirit. There was a huge outpouring of God's presence and light in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination. There was prayer vigils, candlelight vigils. There was the memorial that was seen by hundreds of millions of people.
I was in that room. I saw you there. I didn't get a chance to say hi, but I've never experienced anything like that ever in my life, and probably never will again.
No, I it was truly amazing. Bible sales shooting through the roof. Reports that church attendance spiked and baptism spiked. This moment that.
So again, that was it. Doesn't say anything about Candace, but Dave Rubin's trying to position it that way heavily. Now we get into the Joe Kent debacle. There's a lot of people who are trying to position him now as a leaker. It's the exact same. We just watched this. You know, I remember saying this about the left so many times when I would make videos years ago. I would be like, we just saw them do this. We just saw them try to attack somebody. Ooh, somebody deleted one of their posts. Is it just gone? Ah. Somebody had something to say about Joe Kent and they got rid of it. That might have been Mark Levin, because I had Mark Levin up right at the beginning of this whole thing. Interesting. So he deleted something? That's very, very interesting. Okay. Something here too. People are getting rid of their posts about Joe Kent. What's going on here? This page doesn't exist. Interesting. Okay. I hope that's Mark Levin. I hope his page is gone. Here, let's see another one. Here. Let me see something. Something went wrong. Okay, now I feel like it's on my side of things. What's going on here? Let me see here. I want to see if these people. This is from the real Flynn. I know Flynn won't get rid of anything. He's not going to delete it. Oh, there's something's going on. Is X down? Hold on a second, guys. Hold, please. Hold, please. Let's see. Dave Rubin. Oh, so I get Dave Rubin posts and nobody else? Oh, God. Oh, this will be a day. This is going to be a great day, guys. You get to read what Dave Rubin thinks about everything. That should be just whimsical. Can't wait. Can't wait to hear what Dave Rubin thinks about everything going on here today. Let me guess. Tucker's bad. You should arrest him. Israel's great. You should give him more money. I'm guessing. I don't know that's what he said. Oh, Mark Levin stuff did pop up. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. I thought we had something good going on here, guys. So I'll bring it over to Candace talking about this really quick, because this is a part of her recap. I think the big thing is this. I think this is the big thing here. Let's move. And she's muted. Don't worry, I got it.
Whose wife gave the ultimate sacrifice to this nation. Okay, I'll let you take a listen to how he responded.
Your director of national counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you?
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they sent Boeing 757s over there, loaded with cash, hundreds of millions of dollars? You would have been very happy. This was a wonderful. They sent hundreds of millions. People forget that. Does anybody remember? Right? You remember hundreds of millions of dollars in a Boeing 757. I think they had two of them loaded. They took the seats out and they put cash. And it was so much that there wasn't a bank in Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. that had any money left. They stripped them of all their money, put it into place, sent it to Iran, almost as ransom. That's not going to happen with Trump. And nobody ever did anything about it. Nobody ever said anything. Can you imagine if I did that? So they've been a threat for a long time. But they've really been a threat. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrible deal that he made, the Iran nuclear deal, you would have had a nuclear war 4 years ago. You would have had nuclear holocaust. And you would have had it again if we didn't bomb the site.
Just rambling. First and foremost, calling somebody who's been deployed 11 times weak for actually understanding what that means, right? To understand what it means, like I said, you can have bots on the internet, but you cannot make bots suit up and put boots on the ground and go fight your wars. Okay, Joe Kent did that. So he has an understanding of what it means to put people in harm's way and for them to be willing to die for the country's security. So his measure is going to be infinitely more precise than Trump's is, right? To them, they're playing like Monopoly, right?
It's really interesting to call the guy weak. Because you don't really do that to veterans. I'll make fun of Gary and stuff, but I don't make fun of Gary's service. I don't do that, right? I think Graham has some kind of service as well. I don't make fun of their service or anything like that. I'll make fun of them and their haircuts and, all the weird things they do, stooge stuff, I'll do all that. But I don't make fun of their service. I definitely don't call them weak, You can be dumb, but I won't call them weak. I won't say they don't have courage, right? I mean, to say things that are blatantly untrue in the face of the entire world multiple times a day. I mean, there's some kind of bravery to that. It's a mixture of low IQ and bravery. It's a mix. It's a mix. And I thank them for their service. Is there 6,000 people in the chat? I know black papi. Nunca, nunca, nunca. How does that song go? I know black. Nunca, nunca. I know black. Nunca, nunca. I know black. Nunca, nunca. I know black papi. Anyway. But very interesting, this whole Joe Kent thing, because now there is DOJ should open an investigation to determine if Kent leaked any classified information. And this has been the thing that is starting to form, that he is a leaker, that he leaked information to the Democrats, I believe, is the accusation, that he was a leaker of sorts. Now there should be an investigation on him. Now he should be put in jail, possibly, for the things he's done. When I say we just watched this happen with Tucker. Tucker said a bunch of things about that place in the Middle East, right? And the next thing you know, all of a sudden people are like, wow, Tucker should go to jail. He's a foreign agent. This has happened before, time and time and time again, right? And it just keeps on happening. This was also the Trump reaction. I don't have to play it. I played it through Candace. Mark Levin again says Kent will make the rounds of the woke right, neo-fascist podcasters, left-wing cable channels, the usual old media newspapers. He's literally old media. As he is the next useful idiot. It's ugly. It's an ugly game played by the likes of Marjorie Trader Green. Gangrene. Oh, these nicknames suck. They suck. He's trying to rebel back because he got Micro Mark. Yeah, you gotta come harder than that, my man. You can't do. I mean, somebody even called it out there. Look, of course, you get Micro Mark. I mean, you gotta come harder than that. Marjorie Trader Gangrene. Come on, that's not gonna stand up to Micro Mark. Micro Mark is an alliteration. You're actually short. Megan says you have a short, I mean, come on. You got to come way harder than that. X is down, but I do know for a fact, and I found this really funny, which is why I show this clip, or this post here, is because Mark Levin, I was going to pull it up for you. Mark Levin, he says to Joe Kent, hey, come on my podcast. Why don't you come on my podcast? Like, he's like, I know you're going to say no. And Joe Kent's like, let's do it. He said Thursday or Friday. Joe Kent's like, no problem. Whatever you'd like. But, Mark Levin goes, oh, he's going to go on all these podcasts, all these stupid shows. But now he's doing your show. So I guess your show is one of those stupid shows. I guess your show is one of those woke, right, neo-fascist type of podcasts, So now that's happening. Tucker Carlson, by the way, again, I was going to show you this. I remember most of it anyway. I was going to show you this. Tucker Carlson will be interviewing Joe Kent today at 6 p.m. EST. That would be 5 p.m. CST. So definitely check that out. I'm going to be watching that. I'm definitely going to be talking about that tomorrow because I want to see what they actually talk about. But I mean, it's very obvious that right now what's happening is that, Joe Kent brought up Israel and he shouldn't have done that. And now he's just suffering the same attacks that we're seeing happen to Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and anybody else who decides that they're going to talk about that place in a way that is not absolutely just, doing tricks on it, dancing on it, bouncing on it all wild. You either bounce on it all wild or you stay silent. Everybody knows that. But Tulsi actually said something about the whole very weird response from Tulsi. Like you guys saw yesterday, I was trying to find a response from Tulsi because you would think as soon as one of her guy, like her right-hand guy, resigns for those reasons, that she actually had the same type of reasons to not go along with, whether it be the left or the right. She's rebelled against both for her stance on being anti-war, right? She's had the same type of experience as Joe Kent, less of an experience, but still the same type of experience. She served as well. This was her response. Donald Trump was overwhelmingly elected by the American people to be the president, commander-in-chief. As a commander-in-chief, he is responsible for determining what is and what is not an imminent threat, and whether or not to take action he deems necessary to protect the safety and security of our troops and the American people. It's funny she says the security of the troops. You can't really be like, I might put boots on the ground and have some of you guys die to protect some of you guys. Like, that's not really, but definitely to protect the American people in the country, of course. The Office of Director of National Intelligence is responsible for helping coordinate and integrate all intelligence to provide the Prez and Commander-in-Chief with the best information available to inform his decisions. After carefully reviewing all of the information before him, the president concluded that the Islamist regime of Iran has posed an imminent threat, and he took action based on that conclusion. I mean, just robot response, really. She literally just said what happens in theory. That's basically what she said. Yeah. No, hey, Joe, it's going to be, tough without you, hey, Joe, respect what you've done here. None of that. She's like, I have given the president all of the information, and after I give him all of the information, what he does with the information is make a decision decisive. Now, let's all go back and worry about midterms. Midterms are coming, and that is what's important. Ignore the imminent threat. Please ignore the imminent threat. Ignore the screams of soldiers as they die. Please. We have made a decision based on intel from the Mossad. Just kidding. Just kidding. It's not where it comes from. It comes from Tulsi. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, that was her response. That's all I've seen so far. And all people are doing is reposting her saying no war with Iran. She's against the war with Iran. That's all people are reposting right now. They're finding every single tweet she's ever made about not going to war with Iran, and they're tagging her in it. They're retweeting it so everybody can see it, which is completely understandable in my opinion. Of course, Dave Rubin. I mean, X is down, and out of all the tweets I could have saved, I have so many more that I was going to show you guys. I didn't have time because I didn't want to be late because of the stereotype. I was fighting against the stereotype, and now I can't pull up any of them. And now we're getting Dave Rubin posts and Robot Tulsi posts, But I mean, oh, there you go. It's back up. Perfect. I'll show you some of that stuff. But Dave Rubin did say the plot thickens. And of course, it's because he's trying to help push the narrative. There's more to the Joe Kent story that meets the eye. According to friends, apparently, Joe leaked intelligence under the nose of the Secretary of War. As a result, his access to classified information was removed several weeks ago. He's not stepping down due to his allegiance. So that is the story that is getting pushed forward right now, that he is a leaker, that he is a traitor. And the only reason he said what he said in his resignation letter and in the tweet that he attached to the whole thing is because he's a dishonest, terrible person. And that's it. It has nothing to do with Israel whatsoever. So get that out of your mind. Get that out of your mind. Oh, Philadelphia. That's what I meant. So that's what they're trying to push right now. Also, I mean, this is just a little side quest I had. Joe Kent revealed that, Larry Loomer. You guys know Larry Loomer? Larry Loomer is paid. Very interesting that he says this. Is paid by the side that's too afraid to come at me directly, but knows it's losing. Very interesting that he said that. He's basically saying she's paid by, that place in the Middle East. And I don't mean Saudi Arabia. Very interesting that's a thing. He would know. He's the guy that would know. He's supposed to go and get that type of intel. He's literally the guy who would know about that. So interesting that he's coming forward and saying that about somebody who is kind of, not in the administration, but almost administration adjacent. Like she has these weird meetings with the president for some reason. She even said, she's like, oh, I'm meeting with the president to tell the president everything that Tucker has said about him. Like weird. And then after that meeting, the president turned on Tucker. So she has some kind of power, as nuts as she might be. She has some kind of power. And of course it just deepens more and more. Like this is how it works. This is how they run the game, right? So did Joe Kent leak classified information to the media? Blah, 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 blah. He's always trying, we used to make fun of people with blue hair. We would call people fascists and neo-fascists. We would make fun of them so much. And now everybody's just doing it on the right. It's crazy. In violation of the Espionage Act, did any of the parties to whom he reported to allegedly leak, share the information to Qatar or other countries? What did Tucker Carlson mean when he volunteered his video statement that his texts were reviewed by the agency, blah, blah, blah. So now he's just pushing it forward. He's linking them both together. Joe Kent and Tucker, they're the same type of entity. You know, maybe it wasn't just the Democrats. That's what they're trying to say right now. Maybe it wasn't just the Democrats that he leaked stuff to. Maybe it was other people as well. Like that type of thing that's going on. And of course, damn, RoboCop has analyzed the situation. He says, nah, Joe Kent's wrong. Joe Kent's wrong. He's like, he has no idea. Listen, I quit my job and I know for a fact what the threats are. Yeah, I don't have all the access to information that he does or anything like that. But I think I know a thing or two. That's basically what he's saying, you know. I'll show you more about that later. Let's see if this actually pops up now. I deleted all those tweets. Michael Flynn talking about, Candace. I didn't realize, I didn't actually catch this. Candace is going to interview him tomorrow. And it's not going to be in her studio, I assume. It's going to be where they meet to do the Catholics for Catholics event.
It gives me great pleasure to announce that Joe Kent, I'm going to be interviewing him this Thursday at the Catholics for Catholics event in D.C. I'm looking forward to speaking to him, talking about the conscience and making these sorts of decisions, how we see ourselves, just the direction of travel, the way in which we are having these conversations. And this was an act of bravery. I'm so excited to be able to sit down with him. You guys can get tickets at CatholicsForCatholics.com. And I do want to also say this event, because we have Carrie Prejean Bowler speaking, myself speaking, it is hard for me to express to you how much and how persistent and how despicable the attacks have been from Zionists. This is not an anti-Zionist conference. We are not gathering to talk about Israel. It's never been billed as that. But because they are angry that people who do not principally support Israel.
You know, it's funny that that is the message, because Matt Walsh is there. Like, what do you think Matt Walsh is going to do at this event? You know, it's weird that they're trying to do that just because Candace and Carrie are there and now Joe Kent, because Matt Walsh obviously wouldn't allow that. You know, the second they would start talking about any anti type of stuff like that, he'd be like, guys, I can't. In his head, he's just imagining Ben Shapiro. Get back to work, Matt Walsh. Get back to work. Defend. Guys, we can't be doing this. No, we can't do this right now. Please, everybody, please stop talking about that place, please. Let's talk about the Bible, please. Everybody calm it down. Candace, please. Carrie, no. Joe, Kent, please stop. Everybody stop. You know? You know, a lot of people are accusing them of that because of the whole Catholics for Catholics thing. But the reason that Joe Kent is there and he's doing this event is because that guy who runs it, his name's Josh. He even sent me a message. He was asking me to promote it. And I will retweet it. Sorry about that, Josh. But he's just very quick. Like, I mentioned it on the show, and then all of a sudden he messaged me like right away. So he's just very in tune with what's going on in the world, right? He was on Zach Costello's show. Like, he's just very on it when stuff's going on. So the second that happened to Joe Kent, he ran over to him. It's not like Joe Kent ran over to get interviewed by Candace, right? I'm sure he didn't even think that would happen, but you know, a lot of times when you do stand up, you don't really get too much support where people are actually trying to like pull you in and be with them in a community sense. Why is slow mode on? Turn slow mode off. Turn it off. Love coaches Walsh. It's a pretty solid impression, you know. It's pretty all right. That's what he sounds like. He's like a more refined Balix tones, you know. Little bit of scared, little bit of cowering, you know, but still a little masculine in his voice, right? Because he's allowed to talk about some things, but he's not allowed to talk about other things, you know. He's all right. Friend of the show. Friend of the show, if you didn't know. I would love for these guys who I say that about to see the show. Ben Shapiro's sitting there, and I'm like, he's a friend of the show, just so you know. I am not. Hold on a second. He said I was a friend. I'm not his friend. I'm not his friend. Matt Walsh. I'm not his friend. He said I was his friend. I'm not his friend. Pick me up, Matt Walsh. We have something to get done here. We have to go. Time after time, I've told you. I don't want these things. I want uppies. Pick me up. All right, I'll pick you up here. Here you go. Come on, let's go. Where do you want to go? Put me on your shoulders, Matt Walsh. Put me on your shoulders. Oh, let's go, Mr. Shapiro. Where are we going? So dumb. Putting aside everything else, the fact that he immediately booked the two biggest anti-Trump podcasts tells you it's good that he's no longer works for the administration. See, this is what happens. But he also got it with Mark Levin. So it's like, what are we doing here? You're just branding him as a traitor because he decided to do Candace Owens podcast. Here's more about what I was showing you guys through my bookmarks here. I think my bookmarks are safe right now. So he will be interviewing him soon. Mark Levin is upset about it, of course. Bongino literally has an episode where he's just branding it. He's wrong. So there's that. Fleet showed me this. Fleet, is this Erica and Tulsi? That's Erica, right? For sure. Of course, you tell by the pyrotech, and that's Tulsi. Same white suit, too. Interesting catch, Fleet. Very interesting catch. Very similar. Very much so. I didn't catch that. I think this is Tulsi coming out as she was moving from being independent to being Republican. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I could be wrong. Can't tell 100%. I'm thinking that's what it is because I see an American flag back there instead of a rainbow flag. So I'm guessing this is where she was independent, becoming a Republican. This is not the DNC, right? I mean, you know how the DNC rolls. Tucker Carlson even came forward. He said, interviewing him tonight. He's making sure it's going to be live. I know he says that he's live. I don't think Tucker does live stuff. I don't know. Maybe he does. I've never seen him. You got to do what Candace does to really prove that you're live. You got to like read your chats and everything. Like that's how you know somebody's actually live. I've never seen Tucker do that because it's easy to just record something. And Turning Point did it, right? They recorded something, put it live. Still like Tucker, of course. Mark Levin, Joe Kent. This is where he said, and you know, I was about to lay into Mark Levin here because he was like, oh, he's like, you know, you do my show. I'm like, he didn't even tag the guy. Like he didn't even really want an answer. But for some reason, Joe Kent was like on it. Joe Kent's an operator, right? Guy used to be a part of the agency. I think he's done a lot of stuff, a lot of tours. So he knew right away. He's like, I hear it. Andy ratioed the guy. I mean, goodness gracious. Wild. So that interview is going to be happening either Thursday or Friday. Tomorrow. Yeah. So Thursday or Friday. So after Tucker Carlson. Let's keep going here. I have more bookmarks that I just wanted to roll through really quick. Oh, that was another one I was supposed to do during the Candace piece. Candace was breaking down why she's number one. She actually said to somebody, you're girl mathing it, because they said, do you see how much viewership has decreased in Candace's podcast? Candace, of course, had time. She said, you're girl mathing it. Viewership decreased because we took 10 days off to prepare for the Erica series. Find the nearest male to explain to you things like total volume output versus episode average, etc., and how things are calculated. Men can help. I mean, so rude. Just so rude. Just the rudest thing you can say, you know? She's basically just like, you're a lady. You don't know much. Wow. You can't say that, Candace. Come on. You can't be doing stuff like that. And again, a lot of people are just attacking Joe Kent. Tim Pool, he's saying, well, what happened to his views? Why did his views change? They're using tweets from 2020 where he did seem like he was more in support of things. We should not sit and wait for the next attack. Wipe Iran's ballistic capability out and get our troops out of Iraq. But it seems like he's still at the same point that he's always been. He wants troops out He doesn't want a heart attack. He wants their ballistic capabilities taken out so they can't attack and you don't get drawn into a never-ending war. That's what it seems like to me. Not an expert at all, but I mean, to keep on dragging up these old tweets that are 6 years old now, to make your point about how he's like flip-flopped. And you know what? Like, if you're gonna flip-flop on something, innocent people dying is probably the thing to flip. Like, if you're for innocent people dying and you flip-flopped, I think it's okay. I'm not going to look at you and be like, you changed. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be okay with that. If you're like, you know what? I thought about it. My wife died. I don't know. I don't really want anybody else to go through that. I'm kind of like, oh, okay. That kind of makes sense. That checks out. Good for you, actually, because you decided that. Actually, good. You know, condolences, but you changed your tune. That's a good thing. Baron, ladies and gentlemen. Baron, the Baron. Oh, he hasn't changed his profile picture yet. What's going on, Baron? Come on. They made a great picture for you, man. The people most vehemently supporting the president today were formerly the most vehement never-Trumpers when he ran for office in 2016. Ben Shapiro, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, and others. They're saying the same thing about us now that they sued to say about him. There you go. Very wise from Baron. Baron's becoming quite the voice on X. I don't know if you guys know this. If you don't have X, you don't know. But he's coming out of his shell. Okay. Just wanted to. I think that's it for the thumbnails. Oh yeah, this idiot. I mean, I didn't mean that. He's a. I'm sure he's a good guy. Friend of the show, Officer Tatum.
I didn't waste my time reading that entire statement. I'm just going to say this real quick. I think Joe Kent is a coward.
He's like an SNL skit. Yeah, I didn't waste my time reading all that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Too long, didn't read, y'all. I'm just going to let you know one thing, right? Because I didn't get paid personally. But I'll tell you one thing, a company that I own and a company that owns that company, it may have got a little bit of money. So I got something to say about Joe Kent, y'all. I think he is a coward for what he has said. Now, I don't know everything he has said because I did not take the time to read that. But I think I could say he's a coward based on how much the company that pays me that I own and the company that owns that company, based on how much that company's been paid from various sources. I mean, just the worst guy, you know?
I think he's a coward, and he should be ashamed of himself. He should be honored for his service that he committed to this country, but he's a coward for what he did. And then it had nothing to do with Israel. I think what he said about us fighting the war for Israel is nonsensical, but people have a right to have a stupid opinion if they want to. But the fact that you think you a man, you think you doing something, you think it's honorable that you can say, I'm going to resign because I don't believe in this, but the men and women who serve can't resign. You think you doing something. You're not a leader. You're a coward. You are a coward.
I mean, he says it from his studio with his legs crossed, talking about being a leader and who's a coward. Isn't that incredible? With his legs crossed. I mean, just incredible. I told you, he's a black Mark Levin. That is what he is. You're going to see, I'm telling you, you're going to see it slowly start to happen more and more. He is the black Mark Levin. It's just going to keep on getting this way. He's yelling at a guy who served the country. Multiple, I think it's Bronze Stars, lost his wife while his wife was serving. I mean, 11 tours he's done? I mean, and he's yelling that the guy is a coward because the guy doesn't want other people to like have their wives die from a bomb blast like he did, if it's not necessary. And he's calling him a coward with a YouTube play button behind him. I won't act like I don't have like, I play buttons here too. Okay. I got one too. And I think you're a coward. Huh? This gives me the authority, right? I think you're a coward. I have one too. How about that? Oh my gosh. So silly. Okay, I'll give it like 4 more seconds.
It ain't got nothing to do with Israel. I don't care what he said about Israel. Shit, I'm not Israeli. I don't live in Israel. I've been to Israel one time. I don't care. But when you are going against your own country and you grandstanding and acting like I'm gonna resign because I don't agree with the war. Well, a lot of people that died for this country didn't agree with wars that we were in. But they wasn't enough a wussy to punk out in the middle of a war. If you're a real man, you will see it through.
So go. What is this? Someone get this guy a uniform. What are we talking about? Get him an extra large. Get him an extra large uniform. And get this guy. What do they do? Boats, planes? Get this guy over there. What are we talking about right now? See it through. He's pointing at the screen at an operator that could clearly take him apart if he wanted to, if it really got down to it. I mean, he'd literally take that YouTube play button and put it wherever he wanted inside of Officer Tatum, if he wanted to. Joe Kent does whatever he wants to Officer Tatum. If he walks in the room, he chooses. He goes, maybe we'll fight. Maybe I'll just put your ankles behind your ears. I don't know. I'll see how I'm feeling as we get into it. I mean, he does whatever he wants to Officer Tatum. He dips him in baby oil if he sees fit. Puts baby powder all over him if he'd like to. You know? Does whatever he wants. Just crazy. So it's such a crazy take to have that you're gonna yell at Joe Kent because he wanted to leave his position. You know, talking about grandstanding. It's kind of what you're supposed to do when you leave a position. You're supposed to let Americans know why you're doing what you're doing, right? You're not just supposed to leave with no explanation, right? You don't want to be like Dan Robogina. Robogina, is that what you guys call him? Bongina? I call him Robogina. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to give an explanation of what you're doing. And if it's because you don't agree with something that's going on, you're supposed to let people know. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. He did exactly what you're supposed to do if you're leaving a position like that. You're not just supposed to leave everybody hanging and not understanding what happened. That's what you would do. That's what he's saying that you should do because the admin doesn't like that he did it. That's why he has to be called a wussy by this guy. That's why he has to be called weak by the president. You know what I mean? Because he did come out and say that. And for Officer Tatum to be like, it has nothing to do with Israel. I'm not Israel. I've been to Israel one time. And it was a beautiful experience. I got spit on one time and it was glorious. Okay? It was a glorious time because it was only the one time that they spat on me. That was it. It was a wonderful time. I had a great time. Okay? It was fantastic. I went to that wall and I did unspeakable things on that wall. And then what I did afterwards, I took an ink pen that was filled with blood and I signed a contract, which is why I say the things that I say today. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not I don't know. Maybe. It seems like it. I don't know. I hope not. Look, you look so angry, right? I mean, listen, Gary doesn't get paid all the money. Gary's like, Candace is bad. They're like, listen, Gary, we signed you on for $7,000. We're not giving you the $7,000 for that. We're going to give you $2,000. We're going to call it a day, okay? But Officer Tatum, what? Oh, he gets his full $7,000. He doesn't play around. He's like a 2-minute clip, $7,000. Y'all going to get your money's worth. He doesn't play around. Has his legs crossed and everything. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Officer Tatum, friend of the show. Oh my gosh. So ridiculous. I don't even want to play the whole thing. There's another minute. Am I going to play another minute of this guy yelling at some Patriot veteran while he has his legs crossed in a studio, making exorbitant amounts of money? I forget 7,000. This guy makes like $250,000 a month. Like, are you kidding me right now? I don't know. I'm not doing that. Anyway. Was I in the bookmarks? I was in the bookmarks. Sorry, I forgot. You know? People are calling Joe Kent all sorts of names. Look at that. Look at what we're talking about here. I'm in the bookmarks, right? Versus this. Like, what are we talking about here? This is silly. This is so silly. And on top of that, I even forgot at the beginning, he didn't even read what he said. How did you form? This is why I always say there's some kind of incentive. How did you form such a passionate position towards him and you didn't read what he said? But it's not about that place in the Middle East. But you must have only just read that and then gone to war. That's all that could have happened. How did you get to this place where you're yelling and screaming at a screen, yelling and screaming like he's in a movie theater? That's a fun joke. Black people, this is how they get when they're at the movie theater. I do it too. See? Oh, yeah. He's like, you don't go down that place. Come on, man. They gonna take you out. You need to not go through that door. Why is he going through that door? All white people are like, this is really disruptive. I don't understand why he thinks he can just do this. He's yelling at the screen like this. I paid my money like everybody. Oh, that's an old school joke. And it's true. So, we all do it. My kid does it. My kid yells at the screen. Isn't that crazy? Kid's only half black. Isn't that nuts? Kid's always yelling at the screen. Kid's like, hey, you guys see this? We're like, quiet. Shh. Your mom is white. She doesn't like what you're doing. Stop it. Shh. Kid's like, there's a lion on the screen. I've never seen this before. Oh, I can't wait to do my kid material, man. Slowly, I'm going to start doing kid material. Oh, it's a gold mine when you do comedy, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute gold mine. Anyway, let's keep going here. Yeah, I don't care if the chat goes super fast. Man, that's Candace's superpower when the chat goes aggressively fast. Let it go aggressively fast. But I guess it's more fun to be able to talk to people and stuff. Anyway, what else we got here? Oh, yeah, Matt Walsh. I was just talking about Matt Walsh. This is very interesting because even Matt Walsh, and this is how you know there's like a little bit of a coordinated thing happening because he's trying to blame Ian. Like from the very get-go, and of course we're not going to play this whole thing, but from the get-go, he's trying to blame Ian for what Project Constitution did when Project Constitution posted that video of what everybody was told was Erica Kirk when it was actually this lady, Haley Robson. He already did a correction of it. I saw Jesse do a breakdown of what Project Constitution did. He made some really valid points. He's like, the video's still up. I was like, yeah, that's true. I'm like, it's hard to delete something that has 10 million views. Oh boy, I've never had that happen before. I got a video of 1.6 million. And if somebody told me I had to delete it, I'd be like, I don't know. Are you sure? Because I could just take it down. I don't know. I don't know if I could. I don't know, man. It's tough. But he's right. Jesse was right. He was on point in that video.
There was a post over the weekend that went viral that I want to talk about, amplified by guys like Ian Carroll and other quote unquote independent creators, as we call them now. And
he's not even mentioning the person who posted it. Like literally, he just leads with Ian Carroll.
I got to put the post up on the screen or read it because it's totally false. It's just, I will summarize it by saying that this post that was all over X and maybe other platforms as well is just another volume in the ever-expanding library of anti-Erica Kirk defamation. And basically the post claimed that an audio recording, which they also posted the audio recording, depicts Erica. Now, it's not true, obviously. It's totally made up. Plus, the recording is from over like 20 years ago when Erica herself would have been a minor.
Basic of it. I'm not going to go too much into, another episode of Matt Walsh Get Back to Work, right? I'm not going to go too deep into that. But, I mean, to just act like this is just a Ian Carroll thing, when Ian is one of the three people. There's three people on X who debunked it indefinitely with actual hard facts. And Ian did the deepest dive, right? There's Diligent Dennison, there's Sam Parker, and there's Ian. Ian did the deepest dive. He went into the information that he had, because he has all of the information, and he literally has an app that helps him search through the information. So he was able to do this real easy, real quick, real simple. And let me just write down. I mean, where's my pen? Get back to work. I need my pen here. I got to write that down. We got one thing we got to take out there, Lance. Matt Walsh just letting the rush hour traffic go like that. But Ian Carroll was one of the people who actually debunked it. Like, solidly was like, okay, I have this. They have this. He went into what the FBI actually had in terms of transcripts. Like, he went into everything. So to act like now you're going to do a 20-minute video about how Ian Carroll is this big problem is just so crazy to me, especially because Matt Walsh just recently did a video where he talked about how he has this team and they vet everything and they make sure to come with facts and this and that. And you say you have this team, you say you're vetting everything, you say you're working through everything. How did you not get the context of that story? There's 5 of you. There's 5 of you with Ben Shapiro saying, hey, get back to work. Hey, get back to work. And that wasn't enough to motivate the 5 of you to figure out what this story was actually about? That's crazy. That's nuts. How do you do that, you know? I don't know, man. Matt Walsh, yeah. Get back to work, Matt Walsh. Right away, sir. What should I be doing here? Defend Erica. Defend Erica. All right. Okay. I'll blame Ian Carroll. I'll attach it to Candace somehow. I promise I will. Can't wait for Matt to see Candace at that thing on Thursday. Catholics for Catholics. Can't wait. It's going to be great. I hope they actually do some kind of sit down or something. I hope there's a panel of sorts that they do and that they're on the same panel. I wonder what that's going to look like, because that Josh guy who runs it, he seems like he would let some discussion happen in regards to like Turning Point, Erica, various topics. He seems like he's very open that way. So if there was a panel, they would probably get into that a little bit. That'd be interesting. Although it seems like Candace doesn't want to. For sure Matt doesn't want to, because the last thing you want to do is end up in an impromptu debate with Candace Owens. That is the last thing you want to do. I mean, just put it up against almost anything. That's the last thing you want to just be involved in for no reason. You know what? The tinfoil in me. You know what the tinfoil in me does when I look at this set? I go, well, this is the all-seeing eye, right? That looks like a lizard eye. And then I go down here and I go, oh yeah, and that looks like a serpent eye. That's how my brain works. So when I look at someone's set, I instantly start looking at things. Looks like there's one serpent eye here, one lizard eye here. That's what comes to mind for me. I know. That's how my brain works. That's how it works. I don't know why. No idea. Anyway. Ben calls Matt Toby. Oh, that's a dark joke. That's a dark joke. That's a dark joke. I'm not expanding on that joke. How dare you? How dare you? And then we have the whole thing with BB, right? Somebody pointed this out. Right? I know Candace touched on it a little bit. This person's post was like, why are they the same color? You know, like, why are the hands of Charlie the same color as this guy's face? You know, and there was speculation that those are fake hands, and now there's speculation that this is a fake face. It's very, very interesting little theory that person had there. But here's what happened again. Now, as I think Candace showed, Ambassador Mike Huckabee, he was walking with the emperor here, right? They're walking together, and everything seems cool. Until X gets a hold of it and somebody decides to start zooming in on things, right? So what they decided to start zooming in on wasn't even BB. They started zooming in on this guy. Right? So they have his face, but then they start showing this. And I have to say, that is a little weird. And that person, they're not putting anything on this. That is just what it looks like in the recording. It's very, very weird. Very odd to me. I don't understand why that's happening. I don't understand how that's happening. Okay. I love it. I love X. They're like, option A, AI. Option B, shapeshifter. Option C, totally normal for a head to reshape itself. I mean, that's a little bit leading. You didn't even leave room for just like, this is nothing. They didn't even leave room for that. Here, let's check it out. That is just the recording. This person did not manipulate it at all. That is just what it looks like when they meet up. Now, I don't know. As you get older, you know, your face does stuff, right? As you get older, your face just does stuff, doesn't it? You know? Some people's ears move. Some people's hairline, hair, and face changes when they, you know, smile versus not smiling. I don't know. You know? It looks crazy. It does look crazy. I have to admit, you know, it's hard. I love it. I love those theories. I love those theories. So a lot of people are saying like, you know, Candace put it the best. And I don't think people have to say anything past it. When you're actually alive, the best thing for you to do is just go on living. She summed it up pretty well. If you're alive, just be alive. You know? You don't have to release any videos and show your hand and be like, oh, I got 5 fingers. Look at this coffee. Ooh, coffee doesn't spill. Boop, 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 boop. Throw it in the air and take a little sip. You know, you don't have to do all that. You can just be alive. And then we'll all think you're alive. Listen, I said it on X. He comes to the White House every 2 weeks. If he doesn't show up, something's going on. You know, Mark let me know that he actually does his laundry there. How long can a man go without doing his dirty laundry at the White House? I mean, I would think he's going to have to get over there pretty soon. So I would think we're going to see him very, very soon. But I could be wrong. It has happened in the past, once or twice. So also, just so you know, Nicki Minaj called Tucker Carlson a Russian spy. So there's that. This is not coordinated. You know, it has nothing to do with her working with Turning Point, working with the administration. It has nothing to do with that. It's just what she thought. It's a Russian spy. That's the way it works now. You know? When do I get to sell out? Do I get to sell out too, guys? You know? When do I get to do what Officer Tatum's doing? I can't cross my legs because I'm a guy. I don't do that type of thing. But I could get passionate about things I haven't read before. I have that capability. You know? I'm pretty funny too. I'll make it funny. Where's my sellout package? I saw Dom on X. He just got a new condo. When do I get a new condo? I can say Joe Kent's a coward. I could do that. When do I get mine? Oh my gosh. I guess you just never get it, right? That's how it works, you know? You know, sometimes you just don't get the offer. Only the cool guys get the offer. I just won't get dipped in baby oil. Maybe that's the whole thing, is that I won't allow myself to get dipped in baby oil, you know? It's just, I can't do it. That's the one thing I can't do. I know you guys post stuff live while I'm live. There's a group that shared The Voice so many times that thought it was Erica, including myself, that is up to no good. There's a post from that group this AM. This group is all about you, Candace, Barron. We talk about reviews and episodes. I don't know. Investigating the narrative. Interesting. What is this? Let's see this. It's very interesting. I did click on it to see if it was the same overall message. I quickly removed the group from the post. Please be aware we are spiritual warfare. Links may seem innocent, even informative, might actually be something else. It was something else that I felt. Be careful responding to comments. If it feels off, go see if the person's legit. So there's a group that's about us. Ugh. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, so somebody shared the voice so many times that everybody thought it was Erica, including myself. That is up to no good. There's someone in the group. This is a post from the group in the AM. This group is all about you, Candace Barron. We talk about reviews and episodes. That is weird. That is weird. Why do you include me in that? I guess I do breakdowns, I guess. You know, I feel like Barron and Candace are in a group all their own, you know? You include me in there. I don't know. I guess you can. I can kind of take a compliment. Not always, though. Don't fully like compliments. But other than that, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, let's just play this, right? If I'm gonna go to the washroom, I'm gonna make sure to play something worthwhile. Charlie Kirk trying to get across his message. Let's just jump right. Let's jump right here. There's a certain part, the most replayed part. Check this out.
There's been a lot of controversy over that, and yet not as much over Israel. And people are judged very heavily if they critique that aid that is given to Israel. I think I'm pro-Israel. I support them. I believe Israel has a right to exist. I believe that they are the only state in that region with the right to exist. But why are we treating them differently than any other ally? Should we not be judging them, holding them to the same standard?
Your view is articulated by a lot of young people and held by a lot of young people. Because let's now take a step back and let's now broaden it. How many of you guys think when a lawmaker, and a man I respect like Ted Cruz, uses the Bible to justify aid to Israel, doesn't even know the verse, do you guys think that's like not the best way to approach this? Raise your hand. Okay.
I think Ted Cruz used Genesis 12:3. I think a lot of people see that as off-putting when you look at the New Testament.
Why?
Because I think a lot of people, they look especially at the writings of Paul, where he talks about how the new flesh is not the same as the people in the old covenant. The new flesh is everybody, is everyone's.
That is Dino behind there shaking his head very aggressively.
You're talking about Romans 9?
Yes, 9:6, yeah.
Are you Catholic?
Converting.
Very interesting stuff. This whole thing, I'm telling you, check this out. Because, you know, this would have changed the game for Charlie, I think. You know, because he was very leading with his question. Even in that question, he was very leading with it. He even said, do you think that this is not the best way? Like, he was very leading with what he was saying. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it just showed how he actually felt. And I think that's an important thing to do. Let's see here. Anything. Somebody telling me Joe Kent is evil. Is that what I have here? He's an assassin. And Mitch Snow at Fort Huachuca. Okay. I'll look at that video later. I don't want to pull that video up right now. That was an email somebody put through. Let's get to the super chats, ladies and gentlemen. Man, oh man. Let's jump over here and check this stuff out. I want to talk with you guys. You know, we were doing the members chat recently. I should actually double check just to see if I have anything else that I need to pull up here. Oh, there is one thing that I should kind of pull up first. You know, Barron. I think Barron said, oh, wait, no, there's another thing with Barron. There's two things with, not two things with Barron, but two things in this subject. Let me see if I can find Barron's post about this. Barron made a post about Jack Posobiec relaying the names of the people who struggle sessioned Charlie. And yet there's support. I just want to see. You know, Barron gives like this fatherly advice to these Turning Point guys. Yeah, there it is. Boom. Let me check this out. There's two posts here that I find very interesting when it comes to Charlie. So, Jack Posobiec says, this is just yesterday or a day or so ago, 36 hours. We'll never forget every single person who was trying to struggle session Charlie over AmFest speakers right up until September 10th. It's the same people we see trying to struggle session others today. Now, that's very interesting because Jack is a company man. I know Fleet absolutely despises the way, look, even as I say that, she does not like Jack at all. Even as I say that, I see her tweet right here. If he's going to grow some balls, best to make it a full set. I've never heard about them being called a full set before. I hope I have a full set. I've never heard of that terminology before, Fleet. So Barron ends up saying Jack should identify by name every single person he's talking about in this post. And I agree with that. And it's interesting that Jack is even willing to comment on that. So that means Jack knows who was trying to, quote unquote, struggle session Charlie. If you don't know what that is, it's just basically they put pressure on you. You get text messages, you get tweets, you get all sorts of things, and it's like a struggle. The way that they used to work before social media, before the internet, is that if you were somebody who, let's just use Charlie, he would be at a restaurant and a bunch of people would find out, they would go there and they would disrupt the entire restaurant, just focusing on him, trying to shame him until he left or until he gave in. And they would just do that from place to place that you went. Those were the original struggle sessions. Now they do that type of stuff online. Yeah, so I found that very interesting that Barron said that. Even more interesting that Jack was willing to say this out loud. But then there's also this tweet. Travis found something that Tyler said. He said, do you know how many times we've discussed threats that were out there? I probably have seen hundreds of significant threats that we regularly discussed, and we regularly discussed the belief that the deep state and radical regimes were after him. So this is him talking about conversations with Charlie Kirk. I've been asked 0 questions directly by anyone. Weird, not even the Bureau. Odd, very odd. I have seen plenty of people make a whole lot of stuff up for clicks. That's been interesting, hence why I'm thrilled for anyone to come to our headquarters and talk to us. Then Candace showed up and they were like, oh, Candace is here. Candace wants to talk. She says she wants to meet up with Erica. I don't know what to do. Should we just burn the building down? I think, no? What do we do then? Can I leave? Can I take a sick day? I'd like to take a sick day. Blake's just in the corner. A sick day. I want a sick day. You know, Andrew's leaking the information. He's like, they are all tripping out because you are at the building to talk. Talk soon. Love you. Bye-bye. Mwah, 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 mwah. I assume that's how he ends his text messages. That's just assumption. Paraphrasing. Friend of the show, Andrew Colvette. He's always been a friend of the show. Anyone who leaks Candace all this information has to be a friend of the show. I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? So that was very interesting as well. So Jack says he knows that there's people struggle sessioning Charlie. And Tyler comes forward and says that there was a belief that deep state and radical regimes were after him. Who are those deep state and radical regimes? You know, what conversations were you guys having? And why haven't you continued to have the conversation now that he's gone? And he says no one's asked him about it directly. I mean, now this guy, Travis, is tagging him and basically asking the question, like, you know, get the clarification. It's weird. The Bureau hasn't asked him anything about this either, right? They'll knock on your door for certain tweets, but for this, they haven't asked him anything. Nobody's come to him and said, hey, what kind of conversations were you having with Charlie beforehand? Do you know who could have done this? None of that. Very, very weird. Very weird. You know, and again, this is why Candace says, you know, the enemies, the people who took over his show and this and that. That's why she refers to them as that, because there's things like this that they know. There's things like this that they have in their mind on their phones and they don't tell anybody about it. Like, why hasn't Tyler's first tweet been, we thought it was these deep state people, we thought it was XYZ people. Charlie and I talked about this openly. He thought these are the people he thought were out to get him, and just list all the people or regime, whatever, govs, whatever it is. Why hasn't that happened yet? Really weird. Really, really weird. Really dishonest and really sad. You would hope. You know, why isn't Jack naming those people? Right? Like, what if those people are donors at Turning Point? Like, what if they came back to be donors at Turning Point? Do you take the money, or do you turn and say, hey, you can't be a donor here anymore. I know what you did. I don't want you involved in Turning Point anymore. I know what you did. Tell Erica. Erica's gonna be fine with it. You know, she's fine with a lot of things. That's why Candace got so pissed off in that episode. She was like, why are you adjacent to so many scumbags? Why are there so many? Why are you affiliated with so many? You know, it is weird. It is very weird. Anyway, all right, let's get to these. Let's get to these supers here. You know, let me see here. I'm so glad that Arkansas did what they did, man. Arkansas University, Dino is the man for doing what he did. I mean, we'll talk about that in a second. Larry Loomer. Affectionately also known as Jigsaw, Larry Loomer, friend of the show. I gotta go to the top. First come, first serve. For prayer, welcome to the crew. Anybody who comes to the Mint Daddy crew, just know we're gonna talk about, like, oh, we're gonna have my wife on. I forgot to tell. I should actually tell you guys that too. I listen, my wife. We're figuring it out, right? So in the members, like, we're doing something called Date Night Conspiracies, where we just talk about a certain topic. Maybe we'll revisit some things that we've already talked about. I'm gonna make sure it's very low pressure for her. I don't want her to be stressing about research and this and that, you know. So, but we're gonna be talking. You're gonna be hearing the wife talk if you're in the members. Just saying. You know, there's some appeal there. So welcome to the crew. Hawaii, welcome to the crew. Jen, welcome to the crew. Ivan has to say, the best part of being a retired boomer is waking up to a hot cup of coffee and the greatness of Coach. St. Patrick's Day for Sir Baron Greenhair. By the way, Coach, looking quite svelte. Oh, out of all the words that I cannot pronounce, when you throw a word like svelte at me, I know this is what happened. Yeah, Crown Heights, right? You're gonna hear the word svelte quite a bit, especially when you look like your boy here. I mean, for those of you who don't know, it's another word for jacked. You know, you're looking good. You're looking buff. You know, it's a word for that. It's so funny. I was just able to read that word like no problem. Thank you so much. Did not realize you were a retired boomer. Thank you for your service. Glad you got to actually retire and chill. Not a lot of people get to do that. I'm glad you get to do that. And thank you for calling it the greatness of Coach. Truly appreciate that as well. And yeah, you know, Baron, you know, St. Patty's Day, green hair. It's nice. I think he needs to change his profile picture. Cassandra, the artist, welcome to the crew. Cohen Film, friend of the show. Stop Club America. Yeah, right? Yeah, I don't think, I wonder, they say that they don't want to be in conflict when it comes to Arkansas University, which is now known as, I believe it's Young Conservative Revival. I believe that's what it's called. That's what they're going to be calling themselves going forward. I wonder if they're going to make a pivot towards stopping Club America or having their own high school type of thing where they now are going into schools and trying to get high school chapters as well. I wonder if they're going to do anything towards that effort, because I think that would be the smart thing to do, quite honestly. Oh, you know what? You know, no. I was going to say make this a thumbnail, Lance, but you don't need to make that a thumbnail. Maybe. Proud Arkansan. Thank you very much. Just like Dee Dee. You know Dee Dee? You know Dee Dee got a podcast? You ever met him? Walking around? You ever met him while they're like not letting him into places? Ew, she can't help herself and smile when they clap for her, then snaps back to fake stoicism. She is a beyond. Why did you write derogatory at the bottom? Fleet, I'm telling you, you know what? I always talk about Jamie. You got to watch out for Fleet too, right? You know what I mean? When Jamie comes in the chat, you never know what Fleet's gonna say either. You have no clue what Fleet's gonna say. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you know, they clap for her. She can't help but smile, and then she snaps back into the sadness with the words. That's how you know things are very prepared. I would even go as far as to say she's more prepared than Harris was. When we saw Harris running around 2024, 2023, I would say she's more prepared than Harris. Steph, Erica's bad acting on display again. She definitely went to the same acting school as Amber Heard. She's such a fraud in every aspect of her life. God bless you and your beautiful family. That took a turn near the end. It was very aggressive and then became very loving. Thank you very much, Steph. Appreciate you. Yeah, everybody talks about the bad acting. I saw it with the first speech, and I was like, I don't know the lady. When she's standing next to Charlie's chair, I'm like, I don't know the lady. I could be wrong. Like, I don't know, right? And then all of a sudden, I was like, time after time, you'd hear her talk, and you'd be like, I don't know about this. Maybe she's just like maybe she's just like that. And then slowly it was like, this is wrong. Something very wrong is happening. Mark says nothing. Thank you very much, Mark. Or Maker, sorry. Ivan is Ivan. Coach, Cup of Joe for your awesome mods. Thank you so much for the awesome mods. You like the mods. I saw someone say the other day, they're like, mods equals Gestapo. And I was like, oh, geez, like, it's a little overboard. I was like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, what? Oh, man. Mods equal order. They're very nice. They're very good people. Enjoy what they do. Ivan is Ivan. Welcome to the crew. We'll see you next week. Tim Tam, welcome to the crew. We'll see you next week. Texas Beach Girl. Who wears jeans to a major announcement with a governor? Erica goes from extreme to another, both inappropriate. She grabs Sarah's midsection. Oh, women notice everything about Erica. Like, I didn't even notice the jeans. She grabs Sarah's midsection like it's my turn to talk. Shut up and let me talk. Like, yeah, I didn't catch it. But you're right. The jeans. But that's the thing, right? She's going to a high school, so she's trying to dress towards what they're used to, right? That's what she's trying to do. But then, yes, it is a governor announcement. It's like, man, it should just be so. You know what? I don't even like the Braylon. Braylon Hollyhand? I don't even particularly like the guy. I didn't like when he was on stage and he was talking about Charlie being dead and he had a big smile on his face. Like, it was weird. But I mean, they should they should just make this guy the face. Like, I mean, it's better than what they had. Like, what is it going to be? Blake and Erica and Andrew? They should just take this young guy and just make him the face. What else are they going to do? Nothing else is working. They might as well just grab that guy and it's like, okay, don't worry. He's 18 in 10 years. People will forget that he was, a puppet of sorts. Like, whatever. That's what they should do. Something. Grab some young guy and just be like, you're the face now. And that's it. And just pay the kid. Like, I don't know. Because it's getting silly now. It's getting real silly. Erica, Andrew, all of them. It's getting silly. It's getting off-putting. Nobody likes it. You guys don't speak to your dead forced ghost people? I'm sorry. Hold on. I feel like I misread that. You guys don't speak to your dead force ghost people. No, I don't think I do. What do you mean it's drastically different from the people they are? Everyone changes to pro-Philly no matter what, even if it kills them. Oops. I'm sure somebody is picking up what you're putting down, man. 100%. Thank you so much. Throwback to last week. If you do the white broadcaster bit, it should be a red wig, not a blonde wig. Okay. Would it even be, what is this? White? Since gingers are black. Oh yeah. See, that's the thing, right? That's why it has to be blonde, right? Don't want to be a ginger. Listen, if I'm gonna be any kind of white, it's gonna be blonde. What are we talking about here, right? If I'm gonna be white, I'm gonna go for premium white. I mean, not going for ginger white. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? Youth roundtable talks were increasingly pushed out on social media right up until his passing. Even then, since the shift that obviously came to a head. Yeah, that was the thing. It seemed like Charlie, because I'm pretty sure he did one of those where it's like 30 people and they all have blue hair and they're all screaming at you and they sit down and debate you one by one. I feel like he saw that, or he was on that, and then he got the idea. He's like, why don't I just have my own like version of this where I can let them just say their ideas? Because that was the thing he was trying to get across, right? As his ideas were shifting, he was like, listen, this is what you have to do. You have to hear what they're saying and not be aggressive towards them, but hear them out and let the conversation happen. If you allow the conversation to happen, then you won't seem so overbearing. It won't seem so controlling. But if you just get real aggressive, like what happened with Joe Kent, like less than 24 hours after he announces his resignation, he brings up that place in the Middle East three times. And the next thing you know, they're like, well, should there be an investigation into this guy? I don't know. It seems like he leaked. Did he leak information? Should he be in jail? Same with Candace. Candace is like, don't enlist. You shouldn't be enlisting. They're like, well, shouldn't she go to jail for that? Tucker, same thing. They're like, wow, I feel like he should go to jail. It's like, you're a little too aggressive. And Charlie was trying to show them through these little things he was doing, you don't have to be so aggressive. If you can allow people to have the conversation, it's a much easier way of, shifting people over to your point of view. If you have a calm, cool, collected dialogue with those people, rather than yelling at them and calling them names. Even one guy said it. If you watch that whole video, one guy's like, if you're going to tell me I hate these people all the time, he's like, I might as well just do the crime. He's like, I'm already being seen as guilty because I'm criticizing a government. He's like, so what am I doing here? That's a young guy. Like, times that mentality by millions of young people. They're getting tired of it. They're getting tired of being attacked as anything. They're getting tired of being called libtards. They're getting tired of being called, like when in regards to like conservative, they're getting tired of being called maggots. They're getting tired of being called names because they have certain views. They don't like that type of stuff. It's a different generation. Our generation, it could work with our generation. You call us a name, we're like, oh, hold on a second. We like name calling. This new generation is like, we don't like name calling, okay? We don't like it. We were just handed participation trophies, even if we won or lost. So obviously we don't like name calling. Don't call us names, It's a different generation. You got to get through them a different way. My daughter passed away November 20th last year. She had, oh man, such a bad time to not be able to pronounce words. Oh my gosh. She had trisomy 9 mosaicism. Her name is Kinley Iris Marie Barton. It's T9 Remembrance Month. Stay-at-home dad / caretaker, and we were in and out of the hospital. Wow, that is crazy. Oh, is this why your profile picture is this ribbon? I could be wrong about that. I always wondered what the ribbon was for because I've seen you a few times. I mean, condolences. My condolences. Wild thing to have. Yeah, I was just thinking about loss. I'm not gonna take a dark turn in the podcast, but I was just thinking about loss in that same regard because I have a kid, right? I'm gonna have 2 in like 3 weeks. It's just so crazy to think about. It crossed my mind because I was like, oh, that's the worst thing ever. I had to shake it out of my head. But oh man, it's just terrible, Condolences in the chat, please, guys. Prayers and condolences for them in the chat. How do I join the Discord? I don't know. I don't even know how to join the Discord. Am I in the Discord? I have no idea. You have to ask Lance. I don't even know if there is one. Is there one? Well, Lance is in charge of that. Texas Beach Girl. Erica Kirk needs to come out with a current video with her holding a current newspaper with the date showing her kids, Charlie Kirk's dog, so everyone can see they are okay and not locked in a closet somewhere. I'm sure they're not locked in a closet or anything like that, but we have not seen them. I did comment on this before where I was like, they don't even do those pictures anymore because they would always like hide the kid's face. They don't even do that anymore. There's not any of those pictures anymore. I don't understand why that's happening. I know a lot of rumors circulated about whether she even has them. I think she does, but I find the behavior odd. I mean, but at the same time, I don't take pictures like that, and I don't want to take pictures like that. So I get it from that standpoint. But if you were taking a bunch of pictures like that and now you're not, what's going on there? Yeah, that was my thought process. Sarah, does anyone else remember the viral song Balix Tone's Rants as a indie folk? So I do remember this. It popped up on my homepage last night, and I think we all need to collectively revisit it. Hits different these days. That is probably popping up in your page because of Fleet. Because Fleet's bringing Fleet and Lance are bringing a resurgence to wild, fun, crazy music and videos now. You know, they're bringing a resurgence. So if you're clicking on their stuff, then they're going to start showing you that because it's in the same category. George Harmon, or Harmon, Micro Machine Mark Levin should be investigated for working for a foreign state, as well as Larry Loomer. Shout out to my Kentucky representation holding the bad people, accountable. Yeah, as they should. Yeah, Laura should have to. I always say, like, you know, if you could see who pays these people, but like we learned from Officer Tatum, they'll have a company that and another company owns that company, and that company will get paid. So it's like it's actually pretty hard to track. You know, it's funny. Mama Masher. Actually, Didi went to the AR event and they wouldn't let him in. I don't know what you mean. I said that. And they asked for ID, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand. Yeah, I said exactly that. I didn't say he went in. I said they didn't let him in. That's what I said. All right. Anyway. So just so you know, your actually is canceled out. You don't get it. You don't get an actually here because you're wrong. See, Dr. Phil Edelphia would never be wrong in his actually, right? When he says actually, it's going to be right on the money. Okay. That's how that works. I'm just saying. Anyway, none of your business. CVid by these files. Jeff Kidro. Jeff Kidro and Kid Robots. Wait. Is that SNL? Are you talking about The Rock and that weird thing that he did? I don't know. Crippy Sue creates Baron's hair was in honor of St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, but still, you know, that's not an excuse. You know, that's not a proper excuse at all. You know, Alpha Jerk. Officer Tatum looks like he got stung by a bee. Got stung by a bee and spit on when he was in Israel. You know, Miss Cassie. Officer Tatum saying people have the right to a stupid opinion after stating he didn't read the material he was commenting on says all. Yeah, 100%. Such a wild thing to do. People who follow that guy, like, they don't question that at all. He's like, I didn't read what I'm about to talk about. Like, really? Like, he has people working for him. Someone could have just read it to him. And he could have just sat there and listened. He didn't even want to do that. And people are still, like, nodding along with this guy. Like, man, I like what this guy's all about. Like, it's pretty crazy to me. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Weird. Shannon was 35 with a 3-year-old and 18-month-old babies. She was beautiful and smart. I have zero hate for Joe leaving to support others not going through that. All right? 35 and 2 kids. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy for him to have to go through that. And it changed his perspective. Changed his perspective on everything, I bet. Come on. Officer Tatum is a loser from Stop 6. That's the hood in Fort Worth. Of course, he will say anything to get paid. Is he enlisting? Ghetto loser. Yeah, that's the thing. He's not enlisting. There's no chance that he's going to enlist. There's absolutely no chance he is going to do that. I'm telling you, that's why I'm saying he's the Black Levin. He is the Black Mark Levin. He is not going to enlist. He's going to suggest people have to go through that. He's going to support it all the way, no matter what conflict they ever get in, whether it's necessary, unnecessary. He's never going to care. He's always going to push for whatever the admin says, and that's it. And if it goes back the other way in the next election, he's just gonna rail against that and be all about going against woke culture. That's it. That's his game. And I get it. It's like, hey man, if that's making you a millionaire, then I understand why you're doing it. But I mean, it's just so obvious now. Like, who's falling for that type of stuff? Robert Willie says nothing, just screams. Ah! James Wells. Okay. First super chat ever. Love the show. Please have Fleet make a cartoon of your Ben Shapiro on Matt Walsh's shoulders. Give me uppies. Oh man. I could come up with material, just a cartoon of those two all the time. I have enough bouncing around in my head. I could make a whole series of that. Short coin. Black Poppy. I was singing that song yesterday and my son thinks I am crazy. Just white mom just being like, I know black nunca nunca, no black nunca nunca. Kid's gonna be like, my mom used to celebrate not being black. You know that? She did. She had a whole song she made and everything. She would sing about being no Black Poppy. Yeah, it was really weird. She would always do that. Your kid's gonna tell somebody. In my house, we celebrate not being black. They're gonna be like, what did you say? We have a song for it and everything. He's gonna start singing it. He's gonna, I know black, nunca, nunca, I know black, nunca, nunca, I know black, nunca, nunca, I know Black Poppy. Me and my mom always sing that song. You're gonna get in trouble. They're gonna come to your house. Is there somebody? We just want to check on the kid. Is there somebody here? We heard there's people singing about not being black in here. Is that true? Is there any truth to that? And you're just gonna be there like, huh? No, that's not true. YouTube's gonna be playing in the background. It's gonna go to the next song, and it's gonna be like, I know black, nunca, nunca, I know black, nunca, nunca, no black. You're gonna be like, oh, that's not mine. I wasn't. Come with me, ma'am. Oh, it's gonna be a whole thing. You gotta watch out. Be careful. Be careful. I know it's a good song. Is Project Constitution apologizing? I see him on X a lot. I also don't know him, but he has a GoFundMe. I think the GoFundMe's for his dad. I think his dad's going through some medical stuff. In terms of apologizing, he hasn't apologized. Like, he hasn't written an I'm sorry to Erica, but he has. Is that real? Whitney, is this Club Colin, she says? Can I join? I'm going to try and join this. Club Colin. Who made this? 100 members? Going in here. Accept the invite. This might be where I get hacked, guys. I don't know. Okay. There's something here. All right. I guess I'll jump in there. Thank you, Whitney. Is this my club or is this your dead parents club? Am I in the dead parents club now? Anyway, so I don't know if he's going to apologize. You know, Jesse did a pretty good breakdown on the whole thing. You know, Jesse, when it comes to posting things, views, revenue, analytics, stuff like that, Jesse's very dialed in. When it comes to behavior of creators, why they're doing things, why they're not doing things, he's very dialed in. He thinks about that stuff a lot. So he gave a pretty good breakdown of what was happening. And I made a joke, but it's like, yeah, it is hard to delete something that gets so many views because that's a lot of engagement and it helps a lot. And then Jesse also made the connection. He goes, oh, he reposted he made that post about Erica and reposted it on his dad's GoFundMe. And Jesse said, he's like, that's why he won't delete it, because there's so much, there's so many eyes on that could possibly go to the GoFundMe. Jesse was making all the connections. He did a great job in that breakdown. So, long way of saying no. He's not going to exactly apologize. He did make a correction, and Jesse was even in tune with that. Jesse's like, yeah, he made a correction, but this thing got almost 11 million views. His correction got 25,000. That is the nature of retractions and corrections. Major news outlets, when they do retractions, or like newspapers back in the day, they would put something on the front page, they'd get it wrong, and then the next day their paper would have a retraction, but it would be like in the corner of the 8th page, and it would just say like retraction and be very small. Like, that's just how you do it. You never see major news outlets ever apologize, say we got it wrong. They just don't do that. They just keep moving on until the next news cycle comes, and then people tend to forget. So there's a whole bunch to it, but no, he's not. I don't see him apologizing to Erica. Definitely not going to apologize to me. I don't think he's going to apologize to anybody he came at. Miss Cassidy, but he did repost like one of my videos where I was talking about Candace. So I guess that's like, I don't know. Miss Cassidy, I'm starting to wonder if they don't want to read or can't read. Like the 3rd time today, them saying not going to read, but going to give my opinion. There's a bunch of that. Even if they don't say it, you can kind of tell sometimes, especially if you get a good hold on a topic and you understand it really well, and you hear somebody talk about it, you can tell whether or not they've watched videos on it, or you can tell usually. But yeah, there's a whole lot of that. And I don't know. I assume he can read. But who knows? And let me tell you something. If he couldn't, and he's built the following that he has, I would be even more impressed. I would be like, good gosh, how did you do that, sir? I mean, But yeah, it happens a lot. Slinky, Matt said he has staff to vet info. Allegedly, maybe perhaps Matt Walsh was a part of planting the story. These stories aren't planting themselves. Yeah, that's true. I mean, when I saw, I thought it was so weird when that Erica recording popped up, and with people said it was Erica. When I got tagged by like 5 different accounts on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And I noticed they were tagging Candace and Candace's show. It's like, that's very odd. And the thing about it is that Candace even said that she heard about this months ago, right? And her team already vetted it. So it was already something that was out there. And then all of a sudden it had this resurgence of people saying it's her, and they're just tagging us. I felt it was really weird, really, really weird. And that made me really standoffish about it to begin with. But you're right. It's not just happening. I myself don't think stuff like that just happens out of nowhere. It does at times, but you can tell when it happens organically, when something just spreads, and you can tell when it's inorganic. And that felt inorganic when I saw that whole thing. So I was like, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. And thank God I did. I mean, thank God I did. Wait a second. It went up a little bit here. Hold on. Hold, please. What's going on here? Way back up. Oh, a bunch popped up. Jeez. Okay. Back to Slinky. So there you go, Slinky. That's your answer there. Dee in T-Town. Ian getting blocked by Jigsaw on X by Larry Loomer. Just made my day. Yeah, Ian was like, wow, it's taken so long. Getting tired of getting ratioed. I even said on the post, I'm like, maybe they don't get paid as much if they get ratioed, right? Somebody asked a question about Larry Loomer. Honestly, a lot of people think she is, and there's been no confirmation from anybody. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say about that. Nobody knows. Nobody really knows. People just guess. Kay's Corner Farm, Baron made a comment about something taking place in the car to Charlie. Water? Is that a real thing? Water? Because I know you mean what are. I've never seen it written like that before. You're tripping me out, making me feel uneducated here. What are the chances the vertebrae breaking happened in the car by forceful entry, fragments, and held in place by a single clotting pouch? Many mints. Huh. That's interesting. So, the vertebrae breaking by forceful entry of fragments. How would it be forceful entry if it was the fragments? I mean, it'd be forceful by however they got there. And then you're saying held in place. So the fragments held in place by the thing instead of coming out. I don't know if it works that way. I feel like once there's fragments in you, even if you're bleeding, you're still gonna, the fragments are gonna still stay there. You don't need to put a single clotting pouch to make it stay in there. And in fact, you know, if you're, you know, allegedly, maybe perhaps, if you're looking for someone to pass away, in that situation, right? Well, if you're trying to save them, you're gonna put something. When you're trying to, I have to say it like this: if you're trying to save somebody, you want to put one thing there and hold it there. If you remove it, you do the opposite of saving them, right? So if somebody, you know what I mean? So I don't know what the chances are of that. But when they talk about trying to close the car and they couldn't close the car because the feet were hanging out and all this weirdness, I don't know, man. It's weird. Because, you know why it's weird? I actually can't show that. But I have a good feeling I've seen the recording enough. Pretty sure they closed the door. I'm pretty sure they got the door closed. So how did it open? Right? Was it like, because Brian was there, was it his butt like hit the door and it opened? Or was there some other commotion that made the door pop open? Because it wasn't open at first. Like before they left, they closed the door. I remember because I did that video about the EMTs being there with their trauma bags, and one of the guys offers a trauma bag. They completely ignore him. Another guy there, Connor, he seems like he wants to actually get in the car. He seems like he's like, oh, you have to let me in. Like, this is crazy what just happened. They don't let him in the car. They close the door and then they go. So the door was closed at one point and then it was open. Somehow. Terrifying thought, you know? That video of them walking down the hall reminds me of Yeti and Bigfoot videos. Very AI. You're old school internet talking about Bigfoot videos. Jeez. You're from way back. You're from way back in internet land, man. But yeah, it looks weird. The whole thing looks weird. The whole thing seems weird. Again, Candace summed it up perfectly. If you're alive, just be alive. You know, you show up to the White House. Hey, what's going on? Boom, slap hands with the president. What up, Marco? What up, Rubio? Boom, you get a little high five there. JD, what's good, my playboy? What's good with you? You know what I mean? You just come on, just do your thing like you usually do. You don't have to make coffee videos. Like the coffee video is so weird. So why are you making coffee videos where you're like, and in the translation, because it's in his native, well, not actually his native language, but their native language. He's like, they say that I died. I die for coffee. I die for my people. I have 5 fingers. Like all this weird stuff. It's like, just go about your day. Right. His son stopped tweeting for like 7 days. Weird. You know, he's back. Doesn't say anything. It's weird. It's weird. They got their own Biden situation over there. Weekend at Biden's. Anyway. Crappy ass morning. Been mostly out than in here. I hope you and the missus are well. Hi, everybody. Well, Moira, hoping you're having a good morning. Hope it got better. You know, I hope the morning got better for you. Hope you're doing all right. You know, I didn't have not a bad morning, but I got like a nerve thing in my back. You remember that day I was like, oh, my back, it's like a nerve thing. So I'm like trying to deal with that. Wake up in the morning. I got that. I don't know what it's called. That stuff, that cream you rub on your back, it heats up. I got that. I got a heating pad over there that I forgot to put on my back here. Can't work out. Still worked out yesterday because the baby wanted to work out. But yeah, it's been a rough couple of mornings. Like right after I'm done this, I'm laying down. I gotta lay down. but then I got to go for a walk. I mean, jeez. Kimmy Joe? I'm going with Kimmy Joe. What is this? The crochet cabin. I don't know why that's funny to me. Welcome to the crew. Tell them, I want to hear it. Like, listen, next members, if you're there, I want to hear about the crochet cabin. I want to hear what that is. Did you catch the comparison between Tulsi and Erica? I tagged you in on X. When I saw the similarities, I immediately thought of you. Yeah, matching outfits and pyro. Yeah, that was interesting. I never thought of that. Never thought of that with Tulsi. You never think of that with Tulsi. Tulsi seems to be such a, I don't know either of them, but I've watched hours of Tulsi talking. Seems like a better person. Seems like the kind of person that wouldn't give into that type of thing. Seems like a person that doesn't exactly love the limelight, but at the same time is in the pursuit of power. She has, like, when they offered her years ago DNC chair or co-chair, she took it right away, right? When they were platforming her within the Democrats, she took every single accolade she could get. The World Economic Forum offered her some kind of Woman of the Year or some kind of thing. She accepted that right away. I did some digging way back when I made a video about Tulsi. I digged into her first tweets. I went to the bottom of the tweets all the way up, and I found her accepting it, being accepting of it, wanting to work with the WEF in a respect. So she seemed like she was interested in power there. Then she became independent. She was still looking. She ran for president. You know what I mean? She seems like she wants some power, but she seems more genuine at times. But now, again, in hour 3 of the podcast of life, the mask begins to fall. You got Joe Kent saying, hey, I'm doing the thing that it seems like you would have done years ago, just a couple years ago, in fact, and you're not doing it with me. And everybody sees that. Everybody sees that. So, yeah, it was weird. It was very weird. I caught the comparison, though. I showed it. Spade Coffin, welcome to the crew. Lance sends a membership. I actually have to get my wife a membership. She's not even in the crew. She has to be there. Officer Tatum's new name, Dark Levin. Oh, it sounds like the dumbest superhero. That's a good name. That's a good name. Hey, that sticks with me. I'm doing it. I'm with it. I'm 100% with it. Dark Levin, I'm into it. That is the new name. I'll remember that. Thank you so much, Aaron. Appreciate that. That is hilarious. Cancel culture says nothing. Melissa M says nothing. Just sitting there bowing. Thank you very much. Love and Death and Money. Didi got a podcast, deserves a shout out. He's not banned. I could give him some tips on what's going on with him. It's not that he's not. But there's something else going on. There's some things that he has to adjust in his channel. I've seen this before. He's a newer channel. My channel's been active since 2014 or something like that. Yeah, there's just some things he has to adjust in his titling and his thumbnails and his tags, because I can see his channel tags. I can see the tags that he puts on videos. If he adjusts those 4 things that I just mentioned, he'll come right out of that. Because it's not a shadow thing. That's an SEO thing. That's a packaging thing that's going on with him. I haven't reached out to him. I'm supposed to reach out to him. We're supposed to collab. I should have him on the podcast. I should have him on. But yeah, there's something else going on there. It's not a banning of any sort. Turning Point USA didn't let Didi in. Then in her speech, Erica Kirk says we need white men with a black boy behind her. I didn't even catch that. Good job to the team dropping the national organization. That is so funny. I didn't even catch that. Hold on. Come on. Are you being serious? Let me see if I can find that again. Come on. No. Is there? Let me see. Is there a black kid behind her? Oh, I can't see the whole thing. And I have to catch it on YouTube. Oh, there is. There is, ladies and gentlemen. I can see. give you Exhibit A. Exhibit A. These fingers. These fingers. There's only one type of person that would have those fingers. Slightly ashy. Slightly ashy. Oh, I know what this is. That's hilarious. And that is how you know. That is how you know something is planned out. Oh, yeah. You see more of the fingers there. There it is. Exhibit B, ladies and gentlemen. More of the fingers. There you go. There you go. We have at least 8 fingers visible here, guys. Okay? We know exactly what's going on here. That is so funny. And that's how you know everything was so prepared. That was not a genuine off the cuff, like, let me just thank everybody for what we have going on. There was a script, and that was in the script because they were trying to position themselves a certain way. And anybody else that had experience, Charlie Kirk for sure, if you walk into a place and you know that's in the script where you say that, and then you saw that kid behind you, you'd go, yeah, I'm going to leave that part out. If you had those chops, if you had that whole thing where you actually wrote your speech and you came up with the talking points, you'd be like, I'm going to leave that part out because I can see that kid and I'm looking in the crowd. So I can see people of color in the crowd. I can see some behind me. That's the part that I'm going to leave out. That's what you would do if it was authentic. You'd 100% leave that out. But she did. She didn't leave it out. Oh, that's funny. That is really funny. That is crazy. Oh, man. Erica, she's going through it, man. Lance again with the memberships. Lance, we hit 30,000 on the Clips channel. 30,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate everybody. All you short form Sallies out there. We appreciate you so much. This is like 2.5 hours in, so I doubt any of them are here, but still, we thank you. Hey, CC, friend of the show from far/more far land. From so far away. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. Whoa, more popped up. First come, first serve. We got Lance here. Lance here had something to say. Hold on. Hold, please. Lance says, oh, he obviously knew already. Clips hit 30,000 plus. Thank you very much. And yes, there is a Discord. I sent you an invite. There it is. Perfect. Yeah, I accepted. I accepted the invite. There you go. I'm in now. And I guess we'll check it out. I guess the goal is to get that Discord to like 1,000 people, 2,000, 3,000. I don't know. As many people who will fit in. I don't even know if you're allowed to have that many people in Discord. I don't know anything about Discord. God Tim 3 in the video where Erica is looking timid. Did you notice the fake applause in the background? Yeah, I did notice that. People were commenting on that. As they were talking, there was like this little round of applause. I don't know if it was fake applause or if there was something else going on after she spoke and there were people clapping towards that. Because you have to understand, when you're looking at something like this, there's clearly not people standing and watching them. As she's talking, she's clearly gesturing to a camera. Like they're playing to a camera right now, right? So there's someone standing in front of them with a phone, obviously, and that's it. So I don't know that, and they're definitely not on stage, right? You can see that they're not on a stage; they're just standing there. So I don't know if it's fake applause. That would be hilarious if it were, but I think they might have been reacting to someone else that was on stage. But I did hear about that, and I heard it. Heather, also known as Rachel. Sorry I'm late. Morning, Mint Daddy family. Gotta rewind and catch up. Had to send my daily love before I did. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. You're in the Mint Daddy crew, right? You should be. I Scott or L Scott. Love the show. Thank you for going through X. It's a huge burden that I don't have to worry about because you catch us up always. I always will. You give me a good laugh every day, which is always needed. Shout out to Fleet. Love her memes. Fleet Fleet is past memes. Fleet is a creator of video content. Fleet is an animator. An animator. Fleet, if you ever have a resume of sorts to put down, you put down animator, okay? You don't make memes. You're an animator, right? You're an animator and a song producer. Songwriter producer, you know what I mean? Like, make it look real good when you talk about it. You gotta really flex on these people, you know. But thank you so much. I'm sure she saw that. Really appreciate you, Scott. Thank you so much. Kay's Corner Farm Chaos. I would love to know what that is. By the agents in the vehicle. Yes, I'm Southern. By the agents in the vehicle. I don't know what that is. What do you mean? Is there comments here? Oh, there's no comments. What does she mean? Can someone tell me what she means? Guys, like the video, please. What am I, coach? What are you? You would be a producer, right? Or for anybody that knows, since everybody knows Jamie, you'd be like the official Coach Colin Jamie. The official Jamie of I Am Coach Colin. That would be a great title. You can also put producer there. You can also put head researcher. You can put as well. There's so many things you can put. Are you kidding me? Blake, his racist self, wrote the Arkansas speech. I was trying to get an answer to this. Somebody's like, Blake's racist self wrote that Arkansas speech. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. You know, that is something Blake would do. He would write that and he would just fall into the background. He'd be like, I don't know why she said it. Listen, Erica said that. You know, Blake's always just fall into the background. He just says some stuff and just goes. You're so good at keeping up morale. Thanks, coach. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Interesting compliment. Mint Daddy Crew, member for a month. When my mom was dying of brain cancer, she wanted to smoke her vape, but it wasn't good for her brain. I replaced the nicotine with diluted coffee. My mom was vaping coffee. She passed. Dead Parents Club. You know what, Whitney? Condolences, but also like, come on. What are you doing here? You know, this is the type of fun you could expect at the Dead Parent Club, ladies and gentlemen. Sub club of the Mint Daddy crew. That's the type of real fun time Whitney is providing for all of us here. I mean, just regaling us with such joyous stories. Thank you so much, Whitney. We appreciate that. It's crazy. It's crazy. But condolences, though. That's rough to go through. Slinky, coach, you are let me see here, a comedic genius whom we love. Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Need that confidence getting on stage and stuff. If you are in pain, always offer it up to Jesus. That's true. He will use it for the conversion of souls. Listen to you at work every day. Thank you for making me laugh and learn. Thank you very much, Jen. Appreciate that. Good advice as well. I will do that. I should be doing that. Officer Taint. That's funny. Officer Tainted. Yeah, that's what I'll say instead. Officer Tainted sold out and lost all his credibility. Yeah, it's really gone. It's really gone. But there's always a section of the movement that will go for what he's pushing, you know? They will always go for it. What does somebody say? Actually, I'm only gonna be 40, but I love you, Big C. That's Robert saying that right there. Thank you very much, Robert. Appreciate you. Oh, it's at the bottom there. There it was. Okay. Matthew says, I listened to yesterday's live last night at work, and your Officer Tatum impression had me cracking up while welding. Wow. Be careful. Be careful, you know? Just be so careful. That's hilarious. Heather sent a membership. Thank you so much, Heather. Someone thank Heather. Someone got that membership. Disaster D Media. Coach, with all this Ash talk, you got me going. Oh, more popped out. Okay. You got me using lotion, and I am white as can be. Hey, you need it. Do I have where's my lotion? Where's my lotion? Was it on the floor? I don't know. I had lotion around me. I was using it. Oh, I threw it on the couch over there. I got it all the time on me. You kidding me? You kidding me? Right? Vaseline. Again, all day. You gotta stay you gotta stay moist. Worst word, you know? Say hydrated instead. Actually gonna be 40. Love you, Big C. Yeah, man. 40. Good. Good for you, man. I'm gonna be 40 very soon. Very, very soon. Ricky to Tim. Good job. Peace. How did Ricky know he was gonna be the last person? How did Ricky know that? Huh? Who told Ricky about that? Oh, never mind. You're not the last person, Ricky. Someone else jumps in, says absolutely nothing. Tiny Dancer. Is that Ben Shapiro? Ben Shapiro, are you here? 78? That kind of matches up. Ben Shapiro, how have you been, big guy? Huh? How you doing? I like your name, Tiny Dancer. That's very, very good of you, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, came in to show some love here. Thank you so much, Ben. I mean, you know, we make fun a lot, but it's always just jokes. And the fact that you showed up the way you did just now, near the end of everything, just shows that you've been watching the whole time. So we really appreciate you, man. Really appreciate you. If you ever want to come to the show, we got footstools. You know, I got a kid, so we got baby chairs. We have all sorts of stuff for you, man. We'll accommodate. We have all sorts of things. We got squatty potties for you to climb up on. We got anything that you would need, man. You know, and I didn't know that you were a dancer. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I'm glad that you're here. Really glad that you're here. Friend of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Tiny Dancer, aka Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapipi. Yeah, somebody said Ben Shapipi. Yeah, Ben Shapipi. It's good to see you, you know. And yeah, I hope you and Candace work it out. I really do. Because, you know, I think it would be better if you guys worked it out, right? And please, Tiny Dancer, aka Ben Shapiro, please don't try and take over Turning Point. Just, you know, you got Daily Wire. That's good. It's a great platform. You got Matt Walsh, right? That's all you need, man. You don't have to go too far. You know what I mean? But thank you so much for showing your support like this. We truly appreciate it. Ben Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen, making an appearance like that. We appreciate you. Someone else came in last. Bye, Caramel Kiss. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I feel Caramel Kiss. Feel weird calling a lady Caramel. You know, it's like way worse than Sweetie. You know, my wife catches me calling some lady Caramel. Why are you calling her Caramel? That's her name. She spells it differently. I don't know. You know, she said something after Ben Shapiro did. I don't know why. You know, don't want to get into a fight or anything. Oh, I have to see really quick. I have a good hunch. I don't know why. I just realized you remind me of Eddie Murphy when you imitate Officer Tatum. Yeah, it is an Eddie Murphy thing. It's like him doing buckwheat, you know? Let's see here. Somebody tagged me. Oh gosh. Look. You're getting me into a fight with Graham? Don't get me into a fight with Graham. Look, this person getting me in a fight with Graham. Graham says, congrats on the blood money. He says, I got to know about you because of the ick Coach Colin gets when you come up in his feed. You're a nobody. Why are you throwing me into that? Why are you putting me in there like that? I mean, it's true, but come on. Look, now I gotta like it. Come on. You made me do that. Come on. Jeez. Right now, Graham's like, who? What? I give who the ick? There's been so many different people he's given the ick to that he doesn't know what to think about it now. I have one more here. Kay's Corner Farm. I think that says farm at the end. I can't see it. I don't have enough land for a farm, but I have a lot of animals. So I have a corner farm. Okay. The agents was in reference to who on my previous post, one regarding the car, hopefully no more, Because I'm out of... No, yeah, okay, I get it. That's good. You have so many animals, you know? Good for you. You have a corner farm. What are you doing with these farms? You eating these things? You eating these things or you petting these things? Both are okay. You know, I prefer the eating, but it's all good. You don't have to. Let us know. Let us know, yeah? You got any meat for sale? Is that what we're talking about here? I'm just saying, you know. Gotta ask, and somebody has a bunch of animals. What are you doing with all these? You petting every single thing here? Or are we eating some of these things? You know? Which one tastes the best? What we doing here? No, I'm kidding. She probably has them being pets, you know? Anyway. I had a hunch somebody did something on X. I just had this weird feeling. You know, I just wanted to check up on look at this. What are people doing? What is this? What is this? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Come on. What are you guys showing me? I literally just wanted to do a Candace check really quick before we went. I just wanted to see if Candace popped up at all. That was the main thing I was looking for here. You know? Nope, Catholics for Catholics. So nothing yet. Candace silent. She is going to be doing her show today. It is Wednesday, so it's not even the last day of the show. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here. What she ends up covering. I think it's going to be some Joe Kent stuff. It has to be, I would think, some Charlie Kirk stuff, but we'll see. And yeah, this I can usually tell what she's going to cover, but I can't tell this time. She might focus on Mark, Ben Shapiro, and all these guys attacking Joe Kent. Seems like she really wants to stand up for Joe Kent. You know, anyway. So yeah, that's all we're seeing right now. Videos of Jesse with his wife doing a podcast. You know, luckiest guy in the world gets to do a podcast with his wife. I'll be doing that soon. Tulsi, people reposting Tulsi, talking about Iran not being a threat. I mean, people are owning Tulsi with that whole thing. All right, so there's no Candace stuff to update on, but I will be back. I will be back tomorrow, guys, and we will talk about everything going on. Where is my chat here, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, there's another one here. Let me see here. Mrs. Coach has nothing to worry about. There is a Mr. Caramel Kiss. Oh my gosh. What a name. What a name for a man. It makes me think of like Jason Momoa when you say there's a Mr. Caramel Kiss, you know? Hello, Mr. Caramel Kiss. What? What'd you call me? Honey, why do a bunch of people on the internet think I'm Mr. Caramel Kiss? What is that? Honey? Hey, can you straighten this out for me? You know my name's Dwayne. What's going on with you? You calling me Mr. Caramel Kiss? What are you doing that for? Just pissed, you know? Anyway. Let's jump in here. Ladies and gentlemen. I can hear the kids screaming. Miss Coach is doing her best right now. I will see you guys in the chat with Candace, of course. You guys know I will be there. And Baron should be going live today. I'm pretty sure. He didn't go live yesterday. That's why we did the members chat live stream. So he should be going today. Should be going live. He hasn't given us any hints as to what he's going to be talking about. I have a feeling he's going to touch on what's going on with Joe Kent, because he seems very partial to not sending innocent men and women to war, especially a war like this. So I think we're going to see some great stuff from Baron as well. And I don't know if Ian's going live. Ian's been doing a lot of stuff on Kick. You guys have been asking where Ian is. He's been doing a lot of work on Kick. I think he streams to Kick and Twitch at the same time, but don't quote me on that. But that's where he's been at recently. So just in case you're wondering, I've said bye to everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow. I have to go rest my